Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. It is I, Badger, back for some more League of Lads Season 8 Grand Finals action. I am joined, once again, by the great Logical Dota 2. How are you in this fine evening?
I'm doing phenomenal, Badger. Finally get the grand finals. I think this has to be one of the longest League of Lads seasons just because of everything that's happened with scheduling, but it's finally coming to a close and both of these teams have shown that they're quite competent this entire tournament, so looking forward to see more of what they have to bring.
It is one of those things where both these teams are, going into the season, throughout the season, to the preemptive favorites. Pizzadog won Group A, Frostfire Simps won Group B. They went in the playoffs as the favorites, and it's very rare that you really get the two favorite teams in the grand finals like that. Usually there's one of the two teams gets upset. This season we did not get that. It is the two favorites. And obviously we have some heavyweights on both teams. We have Pizzadog in the Radiant, Sheepstick, Bingu, Skyward, Xerioscape, ET. Number of bigger names, even like ET, Sky, and Sheepstick, relevant casters, analysts, versus Frostfire Simps. We got Colonel Squid, Acid Rain, Fume, Boldex, and Journey. Number of players you may recognize from your 7K NA pubs if you play them, but for now we are jumping into some very interesting heroes to start. We are sticking to a meta first pick, though. It is a Brewmaster OD, Alchemist, Monkey King bands into a Weaver 5 pick.
Yeah, Pizzadog has shown pretty routinely that they value this Weaver hero extremely highly. In the last series, in the losers finals against no ban players, they first phase banned Weaver twice, and they first picked it in the second game. And so this game, they're gonna just 5-pick it before Frostfire Simps even have an opportunity to take the hero.
That's part of the value of having these respect bans, where obviously you see Alchemist first phase banned, which you almost never see, but because Radiant have an Alchemist spammer, it's being banned out. Therefore, they can pick this 5 Weaver rather than it being first phase banned.
Yeah, that's true. Alchemist seems to be pretty consistently banned against Pizzadog just because it's one of Skyward's signature hero, or not even signature heroes, just one of his most comfortable heroes. He's shown that he's willing to go as far as to 8-pick Alchemist, even in the meta where I think Alchemist is pretty much unseen for the most part. It's just a hero that he's really comfortable with, and so it's valued very highly.
On top of that, though, it is a number of other signature hero picks. We have the Acid Rain Rubik, probably the best Rubik player in all of League of Lads. Certainly a high title given, but I'm willing to give it to him, and then it's into a 7 Night Stalker into an 8 Kunkka.
I like this 8 Kunkka a lot. I think, judging by the losers final series, there's a good chance that this might be a safe lane Kunkka. And I think Bingu played phenomenal on safe lane Kunkka in their game one. Yeah, I mean, I really like the build that he went for. I think he pretty much understands what modern Kunkka looks like for the most part. You don't really kind of just stock raw damage. You get a lot more stat efficient, or a lot more like stat items and items with actual activatable abilities. And yeah, I'd say I was pretty impressed by his play the entire game. In game two, he had some mishaps, but if we see more of what he did in that game one, I think Pizzadog's looking really good. As well as I think one of the issues that Pizzadog has seen a lot this season is, for the most part, Bingu can be a pretty hit or miss player a lot of the times. But when he does have a good game, then they look extremely strong. And obviously, he's a very high MMR player, so when he does have a good game, he's when he has a good game, he's going to be one of the best players in the lobby. Like he didn't just get 7K by playing like a 3K some games and playing like a 7K other games. When he has a good game, he has a really good game.
There's a number of really good players in the lobby in that aspect where I want to say probably 8 of the players in the lobby can really pop off like that and give a really game-winning sort of performance, which is relatively rare to see in an amateur league of this caliber, but we end up with some very good individual players here. So it's always fun to see exactly what kind of big plays we might see tonight.
Start going for Spearbreaker brand in the second phase. That makes sense. I think they already have a very solid vision hero with the Night Stalker and it's good counter to Weaver. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Spearbreaker didn't see any kind of action in the first phase of their draft. This hero has been extremely highly prioritized in a lot of kind of tier 1 games, especially in the Dota pit. Most recently, earlier today, Team Spirit extremely highly prioritized the hero. They first phase banned it 2 games, and then they picked it in the first phase of drafting 1 game. Seems like it's a hero that's really come to fruition this past few weeks.
And when these two teams did play 12 days ago in the winners finals, Spearbreaker was picked in one of the games. So these teams clearly are aware of its existence on the meta. Perhaps they don't prioritize it as highly as some of the pro teams do, but it's certainly on the radar, and as a result of this second phase banned by Pizzadog. Over to picks, though, it is the Jakiro pick for the Simps. Will be, of course, that 5 Jakiro, unless something really odd happens, but I would put some money on it being a Jakiro 5er.
Yeah, for sure. This is just one Bulljax's classic hero, very comfort hero for him. It's pretty like Jakiro's just a solid hero. You're never really going to get abused unless you majorly mess up, and you're always able to just cast spells in team fights and have a pretty solid team fight contribution, no matter what the game looks like.
If you're curious, it is Throw It Away from Fume and Break from Toronto by Bulljax. If you're curious what the Spotify links are that she had, but we have a Sand King pick for Pizzadog. We saw in the losers finals, Sheepsticks played a very mean Sand King, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's a back-to-back performance on that one. So it should be fun to see exactly what kind of team fights we end up seeing constructed, because these are some good team fighting heroes in general, but not like a Mars Tide type hero where it's just like drop a big ability and your team fights are very self-explanatory. These would end up being very chaotic team fights because there's just so many long range abilities. We're going to see a lot of Blinks purchase, probably a lot of Big Kitties purchase, and it should be a very awkward but exciting team fight game.
Yeah, for sure. And already, I think that Pizzadog, just as a drafting style, they pick like very flexible heroes early on. I think more so than any team, especially in Legal Lads. I think pretty much every single game that we've casted, I incorrectly predict their lanes after draft until we actually see where everyone's going. But this Sand King plus Weaver lane would be extremely strong. These are two of the just strongest heroes in their respective roles, and Sand King it feels extremely natural to put one of these big ranged heroes, or not big, but ranged heroes with high damage like Weaver. Burrow Strike into Bugs will definitely kill Jakiro if he steps out of position, and there's a good chance that it'll kill the carry as well.
Now we have an IO being picked as well, so there's some flexibility. It could be a 5 Weaver 4 IO, could be the 4 Weaver 5 IO, but probably 4 Weaver 5 IO, which means we may be looking at the barrel of a IO Kunkka lane potentially, if they want to bring the Kunkka back to the safe lane as they did in the previous series. Or, of course, it could be flexible. They could put the Kunkka middle instead.
You know, I was actually thinking that exact thing. I think there's a solid chance that it will be Kunkka mid now, because this Wisp Kunkka lane is very odd and does not really have the most synergy. Wisp is a hero that gives attack speed. Kunkka obviously is a hero that it doesn't hate attack speed. You end up buying items like Armlin, AC later on, which do give you some attack speed, but for the most part, you prefer just having flat damage. And Wisp also gives a lot of regen to their partner in lane, but Kunkka is just a naturally durable hero. Oftentimes you'll buy a bracer, or if not, then normally Kunkka's rush Helm of the Iron Will early on to go into Armlet, and so you're not really too concerned on the armor and HP regen department.
Speaking of heroes that are good in the armor and HP department, it's Lifestealer, a hero who is a very good man-fighting carry at pretty much every stage of the game against 99% of Dota heroes, and so far it looks like a pretty good game for it. I mean, it's one of those games where no matter what, the dire side carry would probably need magic immunity, but Lifestealer, he's got built-in magic immunity, so if Fume is playing some good Dota reaction time-wise, it should be a fantastic Lifestealer game.
I think Frostfire Simps have a lot more kind of not really traditional, but maybe a more standard draft than Pizzadog. Honestly, I kind of see this being a Weaver carry for Pizzadog. Or I mean, early on when you 5-pick Weaver like this, I think a lot of the times it ends up being flex into the support position, either pause 4 or pause 5, and you kind of just end up getting and you look to buy an Agnum Scepter eventually. But Frostfire Sims don't really have the best catch for a Weaver, as well as Weaver actually works quite well with the IO, just because IO ends up stealing your move speed, so you and the Weaver move at max move speed like extremely early in the game. Okay,
Well
Razor
then,
last one.
that is one of the few heroes matched up extraordinarily well into the lifesteal. I'm not sure if Frostfire Simps were expecting that. I think they had a different read in the draft than a possible Razor pick.
Yeah, I really like their draft now after this Razor pick. I think this is really a solid pick. This Frostfire Sims are gonna need probably like a fairly greedy pause or mid hero here. Maybe not some like not exactly something like SF. Like I think Lena could be pretty solid here. Just because Lifestealer for the most part isn't very space intensive hero. You can often you can very often do a lot earlier on, just after kind of hitting your armlet corrosion plus phaser treads timing. And the Lifestealer won't really be able to like hard carry the game after having a phenomenal game, just because a lot of these Pizzadog heroes are quite good against Lifestealer. For the most part, a lot of them can live. Like Lifestealer has extremely hard time killing Weaver and Sand King for the most part, and obviously that static link is extremely obnoxious for Lifestealer to get out of. Even if you infest a creep, the static link will still hit you.
Well then, see, you know what? We're going to pick a bit of an odd hero, a bit off meta that we think is going to be successful in this game, and it is the Windrunner pick, middle for Colonel Squid. What's your thoughts overall? Who do you think is favored in this draft currently?
Um, it's a pretty okay Windrunner game. I like Pizzadog's drafts better still. I think this Kunkka versus Windranger lane, it's interesting. The Windranger can do some things at level 6 with the Javelin, but for the most part, I'd say it's pretty Kunkka favorite. He kind of have a hard time sustaining HP early on as Windrunner, and bottle charges generally aren't enough to keep you sustained against Tidebringer. As well as, I think this Razor should still have a phenomenal game for the most part. We'll have Wisp in lane. Razor Wisp just kind of sounds like an extremely obnoxious lane, especially for a hero like Night Stalker, which kind of needs quite a bit of time to get online. You won't really be able to escape Link until nighttime for the most part, especially with the additional tether moves. And this dire safe lane, Lifestealer Jakiro against Sand King Weaver, should be pretty solid for Dire. I think Fume will most likely have a pretty good start. I mean, he might struggle a little bit against Caustic Finale, but for the most part, I think he should free farm. But even still, I don't really think that'll be enough for them for the most part. Pizzadog pretty well equipped to deal with the farm lifesteal.
I want to be contrarian and disagree with you, but I think you're right. I also favor this Pizzadog side draft. I think if the early game team fights go well, I think it's our balling out control, say in that first and second night, then Frostfire seems to have a very good chance to just take control of the map. But I think if you play this game probably 100 times, the Pizzadog probably wins a good 70, 25 times there. But if you are just joining us, welcome to game number 1 of the League of Lads Season 8 Grand Finals. We have Pizzadog on the Radiant side, taking on Frostfire Simps on the Dire side. It's, of course, Game 1. My name is Badger. I'm joined by the one, the only, Logical Boda. And hopefully we are in for a great time tonight.
Got some, got a whole lot of casual ultra going on. I think this is pretty par for the course. Game 1 before the horn blows.
Yeah, especially, you see it sometimes even in the pro games, but especially in the amateur leagues like this, you can see some little friendly banter back and forth. There's a lot of friends in the lobby. There's no real beef like there was, say, in the last series we casted. So it should be mostly friendly stuff tonight.
I think for the most part, this is the laning setup that I we expected after seeing who's playing what hero. Yeah, honestly, I think the probably most important thing for me to watch out for would be this mid lane. I'm pretty confident that it's fairly Kunkka favored for the most part, especially because you generally like to.
He's in the wrong place. He's being run at by 3 over to 0 on 2, but in comes the Io. It's a 4v1. Is there Rosh deny though? Perhaps? 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 Perhaps not. Perhaps there is! Never mind, no first blood. Good denied by Bulljax in the 1v4. Somehow he turns it into a net neutral. Good play by Bulljax, and bit of a lapse in judgment by Pizzadog.
I mean, that's obviously a very just kind of funny interaction there. I think they could have waited for the Sand King start and then Sand King stood up so you could get the Rosh die, but I think in those kinds of situations where like even the smallest kind of incorrect decision can mess up that kill opportunity. It's not such a big deal. And the Jakiro dying to Roshan, that's gonna take him out of the lane for 26 seconds anyways, so he does miss a good part of this first creep wave.
He is now arriving to the south side of that lane, looking to harass the SK and the Weaver, of course, but for now it's still a good lane for ET and Sheepstick, and then over to middle lane it is Kunkka Windrunner. Sounds like what should be a relatively boring lane. Am I correct in assessing that, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything major will happen. I think both heroes can kind of kill the other at level 6, especially with some kind of support rotation, but for the most part, I think it's mostly just Kunkka kind of
First one, though, will be top lane on Sand King. Fume, on Lightstealer grabs the kill. ET looked for vengeance but could not find it, so good kill there by Bulljax and Fume. And a good start to what is this very important top lane.
That's pretty unfortunate for Pizzadog, actually. That, honestly, that kill is probably set up by the fact that Bulljax died at level 1 and was taken out of lane for 20 seconds. A Fume gets level 2 off the first creep wave because Bulljax takes pretty much none of the experience. Fume also started with this extremely aggressive item build, starting with the Orb of Venom. And so at level 2, once he's able to get the Ghoul Frenzy, then they're able to just run down the Sand King, who is pretty susceptible to kind of just being A-clicked and followed early on. Sheepstick doesn't have any points of Sandstorm, as is typical for Sand King in the early levels of the game. Kind of mostly play around the Caustic Finale, but...
The point now where it's ET away from the lane. Sheepstick is burrowing away, but will she survive in this one? She's in the trees. In comes Weaver onto a courier instead, actually, so Sheepstick will go down once again, and this time it's TP on cooldown. The kill goes to Fume and the Lifestealer, so that's 2 kills, both to Fume, both on Sheepstick, and this top lane is looking real good for the Simps right now.
I think this is pretty concerning if you're Pizzadog for the most part. I'd say Sheepstick has done a lot of the heavy lifting early on, like especially kind of post-laning phase, starting to enter the early mid-game. Sheepstick is a lot of the people who seem to be or a lot of the kind of firepower that seems to be facilitating these early rotations, especially to the mid-tier 1 tower. And her kind of getting set back this hard, especially like dying a second time with your TP on cooldown, it's gonna delay some timings significantly. Last time she played Sand King, she went for a sort of greedy Boots of Travel first build. I would be a little bit surprised to see it this game if unless her game changes in a massive way, just because I think won't really be as effective as she would be with like a Blink or a Veil or a Vanguard. Some item that does more with that net worth.
Seeing mid lane, a lot of damage going to Squid, but ultimately he will survive. But it does mean that Bingu secures that bounty around the Radiant Tri-Camp, so good bounty, of course, for Bingu, and that means that Aster actually has to TP middle lane to fill the bottle of Squid, which means for the time being the Messlicker is alone bottom lane, but there's a Razor and an Io, and they cannot quite link him yet, so he will not die in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I'd say this is pretty par for the course for this mid lane. The Wind Ranger's gonna feel a little annoyed by the Kunkka Tidebringer harass, but yeah, just something like a bottle refill from your support will make it completely doable. And Squid has been able to go for, I mean, this is pretty standard Wind Ranger build, so I'm not gonna say it's greedy, but is just kind of these starting items into bottle, into javelin, and with a rotation from like Acerate or Bulljax, Kunkka is actually in a little bit of danger from a Focus Fire plus Javelin kind of kill. The Wisp TP could like very easily turn that around, but it's still something that you have to be careful of if you're Bingu.
We're seeing a lot of posturing in both of the side lanes right now, but no kill attempts. Bullbreath is now there in Sheepstick, but she should be fine. Has the burrow. Has actually no Weaver nearby, but has a cliff to burrow over if needed, and will not even be needed. In the mid lane, we are seeing Colonel Squid grab the level 6 first, so Focus Fire is available, but in return, Bingu's grabbed his 6, so it is both Boat and Focus Fire online quite early.
And it's hard to just like, straight up kind of just dive the Kunkka one-on-one if you're a Windrunner, because this Boat makes Kunkka extremely durable, and just being a strength hero with that 3.8 strength gain, you are just a naturally very tanky hero.
You're taking one of the tankiest mid laners and making him just that much more tanky. It's just so difficult. Over to bottom lane, though, there's Focus Fire there on the Skyward. Skyward goes down immediately. So good rotation by Colonel Squid. The kill goes to Journey, and now it's 3 kills for Frostfire Simps. They're off to a fantastic start to the game right now.
Yeah, that play by Squid was honestly, I think it's a little bit not really risky, but I think there's like a very high chance that it doesn't work a lot of the time. Just because generally around the first night time you'll see a 5 support put down an observer ward to kind of like check for rotations to protect the carry. But there wasn't really anything of the sort, and Xeriscape wasn't in position to intercept the rotation, and so Squid just literally win runs and walks to the bottom lane and then clicks Focus Fire. So, I mean, the reward was quite high, but I think that is, this may be like a low percentage play. But, I mean, now that it did work, that's incredibly nice. Squid maybe spends 30 seconds and gets kill early on the enemy 1 position, forcing him to use his TP again.
Sometimes you gamble, and sometimes you win, and for Squid, a very, very happy win that both helps him individually, but also his team as a whole. And now it's Acerine being linked bottom lane. Should be the first kill now for Pizzadog. And it will be Acerine going down to Skyward. They turn to Journey, but Journey is too fast to die, so it is now 1 kill on the board. ET has rotated over, but it will not be a kill onto the Night Sucker quite yet. We are seeing the lanes begin to break down. We're seeing some heroes begin to hit jungle creeps. Some heroes begin to rotate. We have a lot of action in the Dire Tri-Camp currently. There's a Dire side Obs right here, scouting out all these Radiant heroes and curring in, but ET is playing Weaver, so he doesn't even care if he's been spotted or not.
Bingu has power trills, that's pretty interesting. I think I have seen it occasionally on Kunkka, but I was not expecting it, especially this game. Oh,
Focus Fire is there. In comes X Mark and Boat onto Squid. Squid is not stunned though, but Bingu is still alive. Squid walks away. Bingu also walks away. Everyone is fine. We did see a rotation from the ET Weaver, but ultimately no harm, no foul. Some ultis on cooldown. Now we see Acid Rain, Torrent, Pump Faked, not continued though, and Acid Rain will walk away from that action. So, bit of brawling, but everybody is fine.
I think Pizzadog have a small kind of inkling about the fact that there are these stacks. Oh yeah, and Xeriscape is just going to completely scout them out right now, and it picks up this nice D ward as well. This is very nice. I think this is probably the part of the game where Kunkka is strongest. Just having finished this level 4 Tidebringer, even has an arcane rune right now. 2.87.
This X-Mark Torrent on Acid Rain. They want to kill on Rubik. Shackle's there though onto the Kunkka. In comes Skyward. Down goes Acid. They move to Bulljax. It will be both Dire supports going down, but can Squid get vengeance? Tidebringer brings down Bulljax. They move to Bingu. Journey arrives. Ascension is there. Power shot misses, but Bingu still dies. They move to Squid though. He dies to neutral, so it's a 2-for-1 plus neutral kill. They now go to Journey, who has still the free pathing from the Ascension. He'll get away, but it is Pizzadog grabbing those neutral stacks right now. Acid Rain, he's respawned back to the fight, and Radiant are dropping low. Fade Bolt Void there into Xeriscape. Xeriscape is low, but still alive. Now it's Journey on the run. ET is with Chikuchi. He wants the kill, but cannot find it. Dual Breath is there, though, onto the Weaver, and since a Weaver might just go down, Weaver will go down. In the very end, Radiant grab a good bit of the neutrals, but notably they do not grab any of the large creeps at the Ancients, and they miss most of the large creeps at the hard camp.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty... that was a little bit of a earlier brawl than I was expecting for the most part, but I think Frostfire Simps are pretty content with that for the most part. Squid ends up going down, and their supports also end up going down at the start. But for the most part, I mean, Squid died to neutrals, so Pizzadog didn't get that the kill credit for it, as well as you mentioned, a lot of the creep kill CS ends up going to Pizzadog there at the Frostfire Simps there at the end. Sorry, just because Pizzadog had to kind of evacuate the area at the end of that fight.
Ultimately, it's one of those things where they made this big play and it worked out, but it could have worked out slightly better, and had it worked out slightly better, it would have been a massive win for Pizzadog rather than like maybe a slight win at best. We are seeing minute 10 though. Of course, it is time for our best friend, the minute 10 seed unit to spawn. We are seeing Dire begin to put some pressure on that bottom tier 1 tower, as Radiant puts some pressure on the top tier 1 tower, so nothing too surprising there, but Radiant are rotating bottom lane, perhaps to defend their... Oh, Fume just kills ET somehow. Unbelievable. We are seeing technically there in a Fume, but Fume is absolutely fine. How the actual... What?
Okay, so the Weaver Shikuchi cooldown, especially at lower levels, is like pretty abusable. I think level 1, it's kind of like infamously the worst at being 12-second cooldowns. If you Shikuchi into heroes and it runs out, you can die very often. But here, ET only had level 2 W, and he ends up kind of like walking into trees, and then Lifestealer pops out, and so he's able to hit him for 10 seconds as he's running away. And then Fume just ended up chasing him, and he got him with a final hit after his Shikuchi ended.
Now it is Skyward and Fume in the fight, but in come the entirety of Frostfire Simps. Skyward, once again the target. In comes Relocate, but down goes the Razor. They move to Windrunner. Epicenter has arrived from Sheepstick. They want the kill on Squid. Squid low, but Squid is still alive. Now it's Journey with the Ascension Ice Path to Zare on Io. Io will barely survive. Relocate brought Zarescape and Sheepstick back to the bottom lane, but it's still a team fight win for the Dire. They bring down the Razor and they lose nothing in exchange, and they also defend their top T1 tower.
This is like extremely, I would say, over aggressive play by Skyward there in the this top tier one. I mean, I think it makes sense for him to kind of play this area of the map because this is this top Dire safe lane tier 1 tower is most likely the objective that they're going to go for first. But just kind of being there alone and just aggressively linking the Lifestealer like that is kind of a play that makes you very susceptible.
Speaking of Skyward being alone with the rest of rotation, he was mid lane on a dive for Acid Rain. Acid Rain did not go down. Fume and Squid were there, and they just killed Skyward. So, seeing a lot of aggressive play by Skyward, and so far has not been fruitful. That is, I believe, his second death. Christian, his third death now.
I don't think it's the biggest deal. He's going for this this Treads Maelstrom Razor build, which has seen some popularity recently, and I think he'll definitely scale like completely fine going later on into this game, especially because for the most part kind of feels like his only real objective in these fights is just going to be to link the Lifestealer to try to limit how much he can his damage output, and I think he'll definitely still be able to do that. He maxed link first. I think he understands what he needs to do this game, and he most likely won't be making these same sort of aggressive maneuvers in the future. I think he'll try to focus more on his own game. Just try to... I mean, most of the time with this Maelstrom build, you see something like Maelstrom BKB Refresher, or like Maelstrom BKB into like one item into Refresher. And yeah, I don't think he's exactly going to hit the ideal Razor timings for the most part, but yeah, he'll be completely fine.
Something you did mention earlier was Sheepstick's possibly going for a different build on Sand King given the start of the game. And it is, once again, it is the Travels into Blink build. Travels completed Blink McCurry right now, so it is completed, and perhaps it will be time for a fight top lane, as Sand King will have the Travels in the Blink. Bingu and Zarescape are on the dive right now. Xmark, Boat are there on the Bulljax. Boat certainly will hit, and Bulljax will go down. He'll TP, but that will not work out in his favor. That is one kill for Bingu now, and we are seeing a jump mid lane as well onto Acid Rain by Sheepstick and Skyward. Rubik this time does not juke away, simply goes down there to the combination of the Sand King and the Razor. So it is 2 kills for Pizzadog, and they will move for the top T1 tower. Journey is there, has Dark Ascension, but it should be a kill on the tower, and perhaps even a kill on Journey. He'll TP, is it in time though? No, it is not. Xmark. It'll be there eventually. It's there now, and now Journey's there in that 1v3. The Io, the Kunkka, the Weaver, it's too much damage. Down goes Journey. He accepts his death. Over to bottom lane, meanwhile, it's Sheepstick, Invis, has Burrow and Epi. Epi comes in, but the TP's there in time, so good rage reaction by Fume. Bit of a awkward jump by Pizzadog, does not work out bottom lane, but overall cost Nap it is 2 kills, actually 3 kills, and a T1 tower top take, so it's still a massive gain for them.
That's a ping issue, I think. There is most of the time you can get the epicenter, then immediately just burrow strike the Lifestealer there, just because it's obviously instant cast point. But maybe something with her shift Q got messed up, or something or another happened. But
see, you can cope with saying Sheepstick is on Euro Internet, but guess where Sheepstick is right now?
Oh, that's true.
Covina,
Yeah.
California. Burrow strikes
okay.
there mid lane at the Bulljack. Ice Path comes in, it will miss. Bulljack's low, Lift comes in, stunning onto the Weaver. Bulljack's still alive. Will barely survive, and it, ooh, no death.
That makes calling that one a ping issue a lot funnier.
Now it's X Mark, Torrent, onto Acid Rain. Can they save Rubik? In comes Link, in comes Bolt. Shackle Shot is there onto Razor and the IO. Mechapire has arrived. The damage is low, though, and now it's Radiant running away once again, and it's still the 5v5 mid lane. Everybody's here, but nobody's dead.
Nice, nice pickup by Acid Rain there. Able to steal Shikuchi, get him out of harm's way. One person that I want to talk about right now, though, is Bingu. He's having like, quite a good game. Ended up dying once during that triangle engagement in the dire triangle, but for the most part, he's still the most farmed hero in the game, and he's still having a phenomenal game. Has made some excellent rotations, especially to the top lane, and currently is like pretty much easily the strongest hero in the map right now. Is incredibly tanky and does a lot of damage. Went for this casual Crystallis, which I think is, I would say it's not standard. I mean, pretty much every Kunkka these days is gonna buy Silver Edge just because the item is so damage efficient and the guaranteed crit synergizes really well with
Top lane, Acid Rain should go down. He's being run at by 3, and he's trying to TP, but it will actually be in time. So good escape by Acid Rain. They tried to set up top lane with the Blink Burrow into the Shikuchi to Weaver, but ultimately Shikuchi came off cooldown.
And honestly, like living there is kind of a big deal, just because that means that Acid Rain kind of played in this top lane, was able to push some creep waves out, and just didn't get punished for it at all. Squid is like, okay, Squid's fine.
Was in a little bit of danger temporarily, but ultimately the combination from Bingu was not going to lock down the Windrunner in that case, so there's no kill onto the Colonel Squid today. We are seeing the Simps currently heading to the Radiant side jungle. They've already grabbed that bottom tier 1 tower, and they're beginning to move with Fume towards these camps, looking to grab some map control, but of course it is mirrored. It is currently the IO and the Razor playing into the Dire side jungle, so it's the standard affair. It's what you expect from basically every Dota game above that 4K nowadays, and lo and behold, it has arrived once again.
Yeah, but I think Frostfire Simps have done an incredible job with kind of like expecting this situation and preparing for it. They have 2 of these wards here, so it's going to be, or 2 wards kind of in protecting their own jungle, so yeah, feels like Skyward's just going to just straight up die here. He doesn't have a BKB. Then
yeah, Shackle will hit into the Ice Path, into the damage. Sheepstick TP's in, but it's Skyward already dead and even cancel the TP. Now mid lane, Radiant are there, problem is Dire are not there, and it will be 1 kill onto the Razor and nothing in exchange.
I think this is maybe a little overzealous from Pizzadog, kind of making this rotation and trying to farm out all these jungle camps. It feels like they understand that the right play is kind of going into the enemy team's jungle and taking it over, but okay.
So certainly a fight mid lane, boat comes in, it will not hit, it appears. He isn't the Bulljack, now they move to Acid Rain, but in comes Dirty with the Ascension. He blinks in and silences. Boat is actually stolen and used on too. Shackle's there on the IO as well. ET, Low Thompson, Xeriscape, Acid Rain, both go down. Bulljacks tanks the Burrow. He's still quite low, but Sheepstick's on the run as well. Sheepstick dead is now 3 kills, 3 for 2 exchange for that matter, and now it's Bingu being run at. Journey, Fume, Squid are there. Bingu is low, but it's just too tanky. Journey blinks in for ET, but cannot find that kill. Power Shot hits, but Bingu is just a little bit tanky, possibly. And he will survive. So it ended up being a 2 for 2 exchange. The Razor was dead at the beginning of the fight, so it ended up being a Sand King IO for a Jakiro Rubik trade. Notably, that mid T1 did go down, but it was not really on high HP anyways at the beginning of the fight.
Honestly, feels like Frostfire Simps are pretty like ahead this game for the most part, but they are like still down in gold, which is kind of surprising. I guess that's just the Kunkka and the Sand King Boots of Travel factor. Honestly, thinking about it now, I did question whether or not Sheepstick would go for this Boots of Travel first build, but I think for the most part this has been the correct choice. For the most part, I'd say you can get a lot of you can get away with a lot of these greedier builds in these sorts of games, just because especially in these kind of like high intensity games like grand finals, people tend to play a lot safer, and so if you just like push slightly more than what you normally be able to get away with, a lot of times you won't get punished for it, just because teams can be kind of overly cautious when punishing not necessarily these mistakes, but maybe just punishing some of these choices. Sheepstick has been able to like farm this bottom lane, especially with this Boots of Travel. She's gotten a ton of net worth, and even though she's still 0-3, she's like sitting pretty comfortable in the net worth chart. Only 300 gold behind Squid, who has seemed to have a stellar game as of yet.
If we're juxtaposing the two offlaners, it's 8,200 on Sand King versus 6,000 even on Night Stalker. It's a 2k delta, which is pretty significant. It's actually where most of this net worth difference is coming from. It's this Sand King Night Stalker gap. To an extent, Razor Windrunner as low, but it's mostly the offlaner in this case. Mid lane, though, it will be some jump. The smoke was there from Pizzadog. They're looking perhaps for Fume. Link is there. Now, Link actually is stolen by Acid Rain. Skyward's BKB once again going forward, but he's losing damage to Acid Rain now. In comes Boat. Will hit on the Colonel Squid. Perhaps she will miss instead. Acid Rain goes down. They still want Squid, but Squid is still fine. Torrent misses as well, and it's still Pizzadog on a heavy dive, but they're still as 5. T1 mid is glyphed. The Simps still on the fight. Shackle misses. Ascension comes in. They blink in for Weaver and Sand King. Sheep took the target, goes down. Swarm comes in. And we're seeing a defensive relocate. Radiant are getting the hell away, and they may just lose their IO. He will return into the danger zone quite soon, and yeah, very, very... Actually, the X-Mark from Bingu. Fantastic X-Mark saves the IO, so it's only 1 kill for the side of the Sims. Ends up being a 1-for-1 overall trade, the Rubik for the Sand King.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't think about that interaction. I guess Kunkka and Wisp do have some synergy then, in that case, being able to save the Wisp from these kind of defensive relocates.
For the bottom lane, it is ET going down as well. We saw the Shikuchi stolen by Acid Rain. Of course, the Blink silence from Journey meeting Weaver. Not a happy bug. It has been slain.
You don't mind too much of your ET, though. His, I don't really think he's playing to try to kind of transition more later on. I mean, generally, even these 4 Weavers don't really buy, like, Maelstrom and try to do a lot of right-click damage, but sometimes you can see Weavers attempt to transition more into a core just by buying some more kind of utility-ish damage items, some Vessel, or, I mean, Yules is also an item that we see pretty often, but I think ET's pretty content right now, just playing more of a supporting role this game. He's got 3 cores who are farming pretty well, even though the Razor and the Sand King aren't doing the best in these engagements. But I think he realizes that they're still farming well, and their heroes are just better at farming naturally than the heroes for Frostfire Simps. So as long as he's able to support them, he doesn't need to do anything massive this game. But as long as he's able to supplement them, then they'll be fine going into the min late game.
We see a 3-man smoke into the dire jungle, the Razor, the Io, and the Kunkka, but the Simps appear to have some kind of sixth sense right now. In comes Squid, perhaps walking and breaking the smoke. Shackle's there on too, and they found the Io and the Razor. Squid is X-marked and boated, but Xeriscape's already dead. Now Fume arrives, Link is there, I believe, onto the Windrunner. Ultimately, it's now Radiant on the run. Journey, Squid, Fume, all chasing Journey, has avoided the Bingu as the remainder of the Dire chase onto Sheepsticked. Sheepsticked gets away for now. Burrow comes through. We're seeing Lifestealer pop out once again. Lifestealer comes in. They want Squid. Relocate comes in. Black from Xeriscape. Now they're trying to fight. Squid low. Squid still alive. Ice Path there on two. Dire. They're kiting. Shackle once again there on two. Burrow is there out the Squid. Squid still so low. Sheepstick goes down to trade though for Squid. Link is now there on the Fume. Fume's on the run. Ice Path is there, but it's tanked with the BKB of Bingu. Now we're seeing Skyward being kited. Boltex dies to the Tidebringer damage of Bingu. Ends up being a relatively even trade, the 2-for-2 trade on that one. A lot of BKBs pop, a lot of BKBs revealed in the very end. Neither team gets that much.
Yeah. I think you're pretty content with that for Pizzadog, though. This is the Windrunner's 9-second BKB usage, and she ends up just kind of like dying on it and doesn't really get any massive kills. I mean, Fume was able to get that Sheepstick kill after she reinitiated, but yeah, I mean, you're not mad about that at all. If you're Pizzadog trading the offlaner for the mid, trading the offlaner for the mid hero, and they cast their full duration BKB, you're very content with that. Xeriscape had to buy back, but I don't think you care very much at all. It's just a position 5 buyback. I mean, Wisp, I'd say, is definitely a hero that you would like to keep your buyback on, because this buyback relocate play is something that you'll see quite often, and it can be quite a strong resource for taking engagements, because even if your Wisp gets jumped, which is the hero that the enemy team will try to jump in a large portion of these engagements, then you'll still be able to kind of heal heroes after. But I mean, you don't mind. This buyback is, you want to have it so that you can use it, and using it every once in a while isn't a big deal. You're gonna get Roshan off this as well.
Yeah, it will be a very easy Roshan, but of course that minus armor from the Swarm and the heals from the IO. Skyward on the Razor grabs that first Aegis of the series at minute 25, so a little bit late, I guess, but I guess there's not the greatest Roshan heroes on either team. No, say, Ursa-type hero who's excellent at grabbing the Roshan, say, sub-minute 20. We currently are seeing Sheepstick once again setting up top lane. Squid tried to kill early with that dust, but ultimately the reactions were a little bit too fast to get that kill there. Now ET is on the rendezvous, though the Simps are setting up as fourth. Everyone but Fume there in the last area who has the TP to get there. And for now, Radiant are content to playing the Dire jungle, grabbing the camps, perhaps pushing in the middle lane, but for now it's a bit of a standoff. Dire, Smoke, Astri looking to break the standoff, though their target may be ET. Weaver has, of course, no BKB available, and they have Blink Silence. Blink Silence is there with the Weaver. Weaver the target once again. Torrent comes in, but it will not save ET. And now they run at Bingu. Shackle will not latch. A bit off the mark there from that that little white-colored tree, and ultimately it is one Weaver dead. It will buy some time on the Aegis, but once the Weaver respawns, they still have a solid 30 minutes to fight if they want to. But the Simps want to press their luck. They've smoked up S5 by the river into the Radiant side jungle, looking at their vision. They saw Sand King bottom, and I believe they saw Kunkka in the jungle. They look for Bingu, who has BKB but no Aegis. Shackle is there, but cannot come down in time. Frostfire comes in, he's half HP. BKB not used it, but it's a tough lockdown. Bingu goes down! A huge kill once again, and it's Radiant, who should be looking for the fights with the Aegis, losing hero after hero.
Yeah, and they still have 3 minutes on Aegis, so once the Kunkka respawns, they'll probably be able to get one of these tier 2 towers, either top tier 2 or mid tier 2, but this is a great way of having some kind of play at all on the map for the most part. These Pizzadog heroes are not extremely easy to kill. The Kunkka doesn't really die, except for that one situation that happened, which is a Shackle out of Fog. And yeah, I mean, this will push back Pizzadog's timings a little bit. I don't think they're too concerned, however. They're going to get this tier 2 tower, which is nice. This means that they might be able to get this bottom outpost on Dire, which could be annoying for Pizzadog, because this is something that you would like to kind of keep a hold of as you're going to the other side of the map.
It's one of those things too. A lot of times with that first Aegis, you want to grab the enemy tier 2 towers, but they've only lost their own tier 2 tower, which means, say, you've seen Sheepstick, you mentioned that she's been playing in this bottom lane, right? Constantly applying pressure in the side lane. But if this outpost is taken, it's a lot easier for Dire to say have multiple TP points, one into the Radiant side jungle, one into this T1 tower bottom lane. I can say lock down the Sand King and make a huge play, but for now it's a 4-man smoke from the side of Pizzadog. They see an illusion mid lane, they ultimately will not jump onto it. They head to the Tri Camp, where Bulljax is. But for now, they're playing mostly towards the middle lane. I believe Dire saw the Plasma Field mid lane and Razor breaks the smoke anyways. Shackle is there, onto Zeri, in comes Burrow, onto Squid. Journey arrives, BKB top by both teams. Who will die though? Boat misses, but it gives the rum buff. Squid goes down straight for Zeri's. Boat comes in, stolen by Acid Rain. Now it's Razor and Sand King dropping low. Burrow's there, onto Night Sucker. Ice Top comes in as well. Torrent is there, onto Journey, but Journey's still alive. Sheepstick dead. Journey on the run. Skyward brings down Journey as Skyward once again being kited around. Loses the Aegis, and now it's Radiance. With the Kunkka and Weaver looking for another fight. ET buys some time, distracts for now. He's still in the Chikuchi. Sheepstick returns to the fight. Epicenter Burrows there, onto Bulljax. Bulljax goes down. Epicenter does not slow on more than now head to Acid Rain, who has the stolen Chikuchi, and will walk away. Overall, bit of an odd trade, but one in favor of Pizzadog, and they'll parlay that one into a siege on the middle tier 2 tower.
I mean, this is a good usage of the Aegis. Scarred finishes his refresher, actually. Has the Ags keyed now. He's going to be menacing these fights. I mean, good targeting by Frostfire Simps there, especially from Journey. Just immediately jumps the IO at the start of the fight and able to take Xeriscape out. But it still isn't enough. These cores for Pizzadog, even without the Whisper, extremely durable.
And they are beginning the siege on the top tier 2 tower. There are now 4 in the area, and the 5th with the IO TPing in. They will now begin to hit it. It is daytime, and essentially is on cooldown, but Dire smoke up anyways. They find Xeriscape. Fume has popped the rage, but the tether comes through. Link is in, but it's reflected by the Lotus Orb. Skyward low, Burrow's there onto Squid. Mega Power comes in, both teams pop their BKBs, and now it's Dire. beginning to head perhaps for ET. Shackle does not lash ET low. ET pops the time lapse, but he's actually X-marked by, I believe, Bingu. And now it's Journey, who's invested, looking perhaps for the angle, but it's Radiant chasing after Night Stalker. Burrow comes in, pops and field there. Shackle hits out the Sand King, but it still will be a death on Journey and Bulljax. Fume looks to man fight, bashes out the Skyward, but it's Fume being kited for now. The rage is over. Shackle does not latch, and now it's Fume trying to run. X-Mark comes in. They're hitting on 4, but Fume is winning the man with Bingu. Bingu BKBs. He's trying to run. Burrows there from Sheepstick Power Shot. Does not kill. Relocate comes in, and still Bingu on the run. Dire look for vengeance. They shackle onto ET, onto that one solitary tree, but he's just still alive. Lift, Ice Path, and now ET will go down. It is a kill. But for the Dire, a massive team fight lost unless they can get more kills. They see Skyward, but they will not chase.
I also had a little bit close there at the end. Skyward was killing a Joan Camp as he was escaping and drops a blast ring that almost actually gets him caught because he has to go back for it. Yeah, I'd say that engagement for the most part was pretty okay for Frostfire Simps. I mean, they got Pizzadog out of their side of the map, which is pretty nice. They do have to expend a buyback on their position 5, but they're not too concerned about that.
It's been multiple times we've seen that pos 5 buybacks, and Logical is just completely unconcerned, like, yeah, it costs like 300 gold, they have the money anyways.
That's like 6 centuries. Bulljax will be fine. Yeah, you don't mind too much. I'm a little bit concerned for Frostfire Simps though, because this Razor is going to be quite a issue, especially as Skyward approaches level 25. I mean, it just doesn't feel like as the game goes on.
Ascension is there, Skyward the target, but he's once again in the BKB. They head perhaps for the IO, but Xeriscape still alive. Silence comes through. Aeon Disc pop. Shackle is there as well, and Xeriscape will tether to Skyward. Focus Fire comes in, but Skyward's still alive. Xeriscape now goes down. Sheepstick burrows away. Journey in the BKB is still chasing, but over to Kunkka. He's shackled in the middle of 5 heroes. He will go down. There's 2 kills for the side of Frostfire Simps, but the one problem is, well, it's a tier 1 tower top lane. There will be no tier 2 tower siege. They will still grab that tier 1 tower top lane.
Nice aggressive play from Frostfire Simps there. Don't even really give Pizzadog the opportunity to regroup. And this lifestealer, if he's able to kind of get on these tanky heroes, he does a lot of damage. This is just one of the benefits of having a lifestealer. The Feast lets you just absolutely rip through the Kunkka. And even though he is fairly tanky, he's got 3k HP. 16 armor isn't the most at this point in the game, but this lifestealer can easily dispose of him during a shackle shot duration.
I'm a little bit concerned for both teams, which seems odd, but it is the thoughts that I have, where it's... I feel like there's really 1 or 2 key heroes in these team fights that both teams are targeting really well so far, and I'm curious to see how Sheepstick approaches these fights when you've seen almost every single fight. It's been Dire just running her down and focusing on every single fight. Perhaps it's one of those things where Radiant can look for an alternative way to initiate the fights, but they don't really have one.
Yeah, I mean, Sand King is kind of the only real jump. They are a little bit light on stuns. This is just kind of this is like an issue with their support duo. I'm not saying their support duo is bad, but the Weaver Wisp do not have very many stuns. These are both kind of utility save-ish type heroes. That does put the burden of initiation on the Sand King for the most part. But even still, this it's not like starting fights is impossible for them. Just kind of having the Razor stand in front with a Wisp behind them kind of forces Frostfire Simps to go on the Razor for the most part. It's a little bit hard for them to just kind of jump behind the Razor. Night Stalker can do a decent job, and Liftstar can jump in the Night Stalker, but if you just walk past the Razor, a lot of the times the Razor can just kind of end up killing everyone in the engagement. And so you do have to be a little bit about the Razor. If you are trying to ignore the Razor in these engagements, then you're gonna have to take the fight away from Skyward. You can't just ignore him.
Well, Lift is there into ET, but ET appears to be slightly too tanky. Aston actually attempted the cliff onto the Weaver. Would have forced out time-lapse if it happened, but ultimately it did not happen. Bit of a cheeky play there from the Rubik. Looks like both teams might smoke her.
I mean, both of these teams have like a few of these later timings that they hope for. Oh, Squid finishes a Lincoln Sphere. I was gonna say they might be waiting for this Lincoln Sphere, but Squid has that finished up. Humans closing in a Satanic, which is a really high damage item for these strength cores that like to auto attack a lot. It's feels a little bit weird just because you have natural lifesteal feast, but it's a really strong item for this hero.
Every bit of life still counts sometimes. I mean, you might get say hit by that double Eye of the Storm from Skyward and the Tidebringer from Bingu, but if you have that much life steal, then perhaps you might not even die there.
Every kind of is it a hero BKB? No, okay, I'm just hearing things. Every like the longer that this game goes for Frostfire Simps, where they aren't really kind of like seizing the initiative of this game, I do get more concerned for them because it does kind of feel like Pizzadog have a lot of these heroes that just kind of become like almost oppressive late game. Razor, once you get this refresher Ags and the 25 talent, you can kind of just like run in there, do infinite damage pretty much. You also can take every building yourself. If the enemy team dies on a couple core heroes without buyback, you can just run on their base with a double or triple Eye of the Storm and like take every building in their base. As it just naturally becomes so tanky. And once you get this ghost ship fleet as well,
It's time for the big fight. They have found the burrow, stolen, but actually only pops the Ambisk of Xeriscape. They now send, they want the Io. Io's tanked the Ice Path. In comes the Radiant perhaps, but the Io might just die and he will go down, so it is one kill. Predicated by that 4-man smoke from the side of Frostfire Simps, but ultimately, they're back into the Roshan pit once again. This time it's for that second Roshan. It is the Aegis and the Aghanim Shard, and Radiant should be aware of that one. It's been about 11 minutes since Roshan died. I think 12 even. Bingu, X marks the scout, Torrent comes in, Roshan low is incredibly low. Checkle shot bothers Bingu, but Roshan's still quite low. Bolt comes in and stuns. As he Fume grabs the snatch on the Aegis. Burrows there out of 3. It's a massive burrow from Sheeptick. Now Dire trying to fight. Skyward, though, refreshes his Eye of the Storm. He wants to fight once again, looking for Fume. The Lotus, it will end. And now it's Bingu, stunned, but Fume quite low. Skyward pops the Aegis, but loses his own life as well. Over to Weaver. He's buying so much space right now. He's silenced and will go down, but it's back to Bingu. He's shackled by Squid. The Halberd comes in, but Bingu is slowly dying. He will go down. It is 3 kills in exchange for the Aegis. An absolutely massive win by Frostfire Simps.
there are no buyback on either of the cores that died on Pizzadog either, so they're just gonna run it down the mid lane. There's DD Rune, but they don't even need it really. Their heroes do more than enough damage. Night Stalker during nighttime is also a pretty solid tower hitter for the most part. And this Lifestealer just hits for 400 plus. What is that? Like, yeah, like 420, 410-ish damage. So this is going to be at least one later rack. Oh, Skyward actually
blinking for the I was going to die here. Oh, it's another kill, and we've just seen this ability to fight there with earlier the stolen Burrow Strike, now just these blinks on in, and so far it's just they seem to recognize now is the time they're going for the throne. Weaver has bought back, but can they defend? Glyph comes in, but Dire will still have creeps in the base. Backdoor will not be returning. They now instead head for the barracks. Liquidfire is in, of course, hitting both of those tier 4s, and will be Milrank's dead. They blink on him, looking for ET. Burrow, this one's been stolen and used. ET still low. In comes the real Burrow, but in comes Journey as well. Hex is reflected. Both the Sand King and the Rubik are Hex, and Sand King will go down, and Sheepstick has no buyback as well, so it's currently 2 on the defense. Io, though, and Kunkka are responding, so it will be the 4v5. Dire on the retreat, S5 will get away, it appears. They blink it for ET. ET got Chikuchi off in time, though. They do see Bingu TPing in, and Pizzadog want to force some kind of fight. Ice Path misses. Bingu is hunting, but cannot quite find the angle he wants, and so far, Frostfire Simps, they have no intention to leave. They want to keep applying the pressure. They head up the middle lane even. There's no tier 3s to grab. Tier 2s are alive both top and bottom, and Fume hits the remaining tier 4. Gale Force comes in. Link is there on Lifestealer, now Skyward. Bingu, they need this kill. Astrain has a defensive lift in. Journey, BKBs, silences, disrupts the initiation. Now Bingu has been hit with a stolen X mark, I believe, and now it's Bingu BKBing, trying to fight. Bash comes in from Fume. Halberd there. Fume still looks to fight. The bash is once again there on Bingu. Bingu on the run. Journey, silence, and circle shot there on 2. Tier 4 dead and Dire. They're once again fighting. Burrow in. Aeon popped. Bingu dead. Bingu buys back. And Radiant desperately try to fight. But Skyward goes down. Has no buyback. Boat comes in. Misses. Xeriscape dead. GG called. And Frostfire Simps will take game number 1.
Oh, they played really well. I'd say this is like one of their last real major timings where Pizzadog couldn't just overpower them in these engagements, and like all of these fights that they took were really well executed. They like very clearly were on the same page about who they needed to target in these engagements, and the kind of like the heroes that they had doing all of their jobs just seemed really perfect. Lifestealer was always hitting these big tanky core heroes. Night Stalker was always in the back line, either disrupting the Sand King or the Wisp. They just seemed really coordinated that game.
It's one of those things where it was going so well for Pizzadog for so long, where they just had control of the map, but eventually when the key fights came out, Frostfire Simps showed up big, and they just won these key late game engagements. And I mean, for Pizzadog, it has to be a painful game to lose, where they almost had it in their hand, where they were up by almost a good 10k there with that map pressure being applied, but in a matter of, 4 minutes, the game went from 10k up to just thrown dead.
They kind of like took that engagement in the mid lane, and they were, where they got the 2 heroes out their buyback, and then they went into their base, and then never left. They just ended the game. So I'm not sure what you do. I'm not sure really where Pizzadog went wrong for the most part. It kind of just felt like they got outplayed in a lot of these later game engagements. They might opt to ban Rubik in the first phase. Just, I mean, Acid Rain played quite well in it. 2, 5, 18 assists. It stole a lot of key spells in the engagement. It might just be something that you ban to try to kind of throw him on a hero that he's left comfortable with. But, I mean, I don't think there was anything majorly wrong with Pizzadog's draft in this game 1. Just really feels like Frostfire Simps were maybe more comfortable with their heroes and just kind of outplayed them.
It's one of those things, obviously they're a very well-oiled unit where this 5-man roster on the Dire side, Frostfire Simps, has played together for nearly a year now. We're not quite at a year, but we're certainly approaching that mark, and perhaps the pure player familiarity pays off in those situations where the game begins to break down. We saw, as mentioned in the draft, some very chaotic late game fights where multiple sort of points of the fight occurred. We might see like a Weaver being gone on by 2 heroes as Kunk's fighting a 2v2. That's what we saw in those key late game engagements. And in those moments, it was Frostfire Simps up ahead, and perhaps Pizzadog want to take an entirely different approach to their Dota game to prevent those sort of odd fights from happening, or if they happen, have heroes who are perhaps better in those situations. But I'm not sure. I have to almost go back and watch the team fights to just tell what went wrong there, because they were very close fights in the very end. Those close fights just went the wrong direction for the Radiants.
Yeah, I mean, Pizzadog's draft was maybe like slightly more delicate, because after a while, it felt like Frostfire Simps kind of just like snowballed, and it was hard for them to win these fights. But at least in my eyes, it felt like Pizzadog was always just like 1 item or half item away from being decisively stronger than Frostfire Simps in these fights.
And we are, of course, waiting on game 2 at this point. Honestly, both teams are doing a little bit of resetting, getting prepared for the key game 2, where for Pizzadog, it is back against the wall. It is win or go home, and I believe this happened the exact same way in Winners Finals. I believe they lost game 1. Let's verify that one. Yeah, they lost game 1. They played. This is a rematch of the Winners Finals, and in Winners Finals, Frostfire Simps did win the game 1 in a very epic 62-minute throwdown, and this one a little bit less intense, being a 40-minute affair, but they're of course hoping to, much as in Winners Finals, bounce back with a game 2 victory, bring it to that all-deciding game 3 in Grands. And if you're Frostfire Simps, this is really a situation where it's season after season of choking in the playoffs, season after season of being made fun of for being one of the favorites in playoffs and then losing. And I mean, this is it. They have finally reached the precipice. They are one win away from banishing the demons, and can they finish it? Is the question.
That's true, but it does feel like Pizzadog. I mean, I don't want to say it's Pizzadog specialized in these 3-game series. It does feel like a lot of these series have gone to 3 games, even after a decisive game 1 or a decisive. Even after a decisive game 1, the decisive game 2 is irrelevant. But I think Pizzadog definitely still have like quite a bit of fight left in them. But I mean, it did just seem from game 1 that Frostfire Simps were just kind of better team though.
I'm uh I'm looking forward to the laning phase of game 2. I think this laning phase will be very, very important to where we saw in game 1, the lanes went as a whole pretty well for Frostfire Simps. Mid lane was relatively even. Bot lane went pretty well. Top lane went very well. So perhaps Pizza Dog will look to rectify that issue and take a more commanding position out of the laning phase itself. Because they took a situation where they didn't necessarily do that well into the lanes and transitioned it into a very good mid game. So perhaps if they can get an even bigger advantage in the early game, they can parlay into a commanding map control situation in game 2. That's one thing I'm potentially looking at for the second game right now.
Uh, to be honest, I think my kind of read on this early game was that Pizza Dog actually did pretty like solidly in their lanes. I'd say they, maybe not like super decisively, but I'd say they won the laning stage as a whole. You look at the 10-minute mark net worth here. The Kunkka is a solid, like nearly 1k gold above Windrunner, which I mean, kind of just naturally happens because of the two heroes. Windrunner isn't really the best at farming before Maelstrom, and Kunkka is maybe like one of the best heroes at farming right as you hit level 7. But I mean, even still, it's not like I mean, Kunkka uses all this net worth. It's not like he's got some kind of artificial way of making money. He's 4.3k net worth, but he's a 4.3k net worth strength hero. And I mean, yeah, even in these other lanes, I'd say this bottom lane went like it's pretty significantly worse than Pizza Dog were expecting. I'd say they were pretty favored in this lane, and Night Stalker still had a pretty solid game. But Skyward was still like very high net worth. I think his game was going quite solidly. He was on pace to hit some good timings until he uh, went a little bit over aggressive in this kind of post laning phase stage of the game.
Basically, that minute 5 to minute 10 that went really well for Pizza Dog, where the first 5 minutes didn't necessarily go as well as they wanted, but that next 5 is really where their heroes went and had a good time. And I'm excited for the draft of game 2. I have pulled up the total for game 1 if you want it. I'll put it in the Discord chat. We are looking at the all-important draft for game 2, though. It is back against the wall for Pizza Dog. And the draft has opened about the same way as you expected. It's once again the Alchemist ban. In last game, we saw Frostfire Simps with second pick, and this time it will be Pizza Dog with second pick. So we'll be reversing both pick order and side. Now it'll be Frostfire Simps playing first pick Radiant, Pizza Dog playing second pick Dire. Though the bans have been unchanged, it is the Alchemist and the Brewmaster.
I think the second Pizza Dog ban's gonna be the more important one for the most part. I would not be entirely surprised to see it be a Rubik ban, but at the same time, I okay, they're gonna
So
ban
ban the Weaver. So Monkey King unbanned, Io unbanned, Rubik unbanned. A lot of cool heroes that both these teams like are unbanned right now.
I kind of feel like if you're Frostfire Sims, you just take Rubik again here. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And it's been here obviously that they have prioritized not just this season, but for many of the past seasons. It's been shouting. Okay,
Whoa, they've
no,
mixed it up. They say,
I think
wow.
Pizza Dog will take Rubik here. Yeah, that's a hero that ET has played in the past. It's not exactly a comfort hero, but he does not. He likes playing the hero for sure. And yeah, I feel like you don't just want to let Frostfire Simps take Rubik on this 8 pick.
Perhaps it's one of those things where I'm looking at this like 5 pick Shadow Demon. Perhaps either Radiant intend on picking an illusion carry, or they think that Dire to mix the game pick an illusion carry of their own, whether it's that, Luna, TB, Dusa, PL, Morphling type hero, all of which are picked by both teams. And Shadow Demon obviously both very good offensively or defensively with one of those heroes on their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think this the Shadow Demon plus Illusion Hero, like a Luna or Terrabot, I think this synergy is a little bit overblown because I mean, obviously you still make very strong illusions and low cooldown, so it's good, but I don't really think teams are looking to pick for it so much. I mean, a lot of the kind of meta carries are just naturally kind of meant to illusion heroes, like a illusion hero, illusion heroes that they just play to have strong stats, and so they end up naturally giving strong illusions. But I think ever since Disruption has sort of gotten nerfed over time, Shadow Demon, I think for the most part, is kind of just a hero that likes to play on the other kind of team fight spells. Demonic Purge is just kind of like a great anti-hero spell, or like I mean, it's an anti-carry spell once you get the Ags, but a lot of the times it can just kind of shut down enemy heroes. Like the Spirit Breaker, for instance, you Demonic Purge Spirit Breaker, you can't play the game, and Soul Catcher can turn you into one of the highest damage heroes in the game, especially as a +5 support.
We've spoken to great length about Spirit Breaker in the draft of Game 1, and basically every time we ever cast, we talk about Spirit Breaker because he just picked every game. One thing we have mentioned in the past, though, during our DPC casts is the interaction between Shadow Demon and Spirit Breaker, where you have mentioned the importance of having this purge to continuously purge off Bulldoze, as that's really a way of limiting Spirit Breaker's impact. But we saw when the cut played Spirit Breaker into a Shadow Demon, we saw DNM just charging Shadow Demon constantly, ruining his game. Perhaps we may see a similar interaction in this game, where either it's ET or Shapestick playing the Spirit Breaker and just running constantly, trying to prevent the Shadow Demon from just griefing the entirety of the Spirit Breaker's game.
I think last time that Pizzadog picked Spirit Breaker, we like theorized that it might be a Sheepstick hero just because it's kind of in the same vein as the hero that she plays with all these big kind of beefy strength heroes with the stun, but ET ended up being the person who played it. And honestly, I would like to see them put the Spirit Breaker into a support role just because, I mean, even though the cut did have pretty solid results playing Spirit Breaker into Shadow Demon, that doesn't change the fact that Spirit Breaker is still incredibly good against, or Shadow Demon is still incredibly good against core SB.
Yeah, it was Game 1 of Losers Finals. Pizzadog played the 4 Spirit Breaker for ET, and it was a win. ET had a pretty good game at that. He had a 17 assist game, did a lot of stuns. So perhaps you may see it again, a high assist game with a lot of stuns from ET.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not looking like the best Spirit Breaker game already. Ember can dodge charge it and your ulti with 3 different spells.
What's the third?
Okay, well you can't dodge ulti with Q, but you can dodge charge with Q, W, and the ult, and then you can dodge the ult with the remnant and slight.
This is in general, yeah. The tools for Ember into that Spirit Breaker matchup are quite good, as you've mentioned, and well, it's going to be an interesting game for sure in terms of we're going to assume this is Colonel Squid playing the Ember, and if Squid plays to his full potential, this is like a former ranked 300 player. If he plays extraordinarily well this game, it'll be a very fantastic Ember game. But if his reactions are not on point, if his spell and cooldown management is not on point, he could really get annihilated in this game. Because everything here is dodgeable, but it needs to be dodged, you know?
I mean, yeah, Squid is a Feast or Famine player, I'd say, for the most part, but I'm more than confident he's able to dodge Charge of Darkness on Spirit Breaker. I'm, more than willing to laugh at him if he ends up getting hit by a charge that's very dodgeable. It's not too difficult, especially because just the way that Slight works is it moves your hero to the place that you're attacking. And so if you slight the Spirit Breaker, it automatically dodges it for you. There is no timing necessary. It just procs the charge as you're invincible.
This is the guy who 1 month got to like 7.5k and then the next month lost over 1,000 MMR. So this is as you mentioned, feast or famine player right here. Where Squid has had a couple bad games previously in League of Lads, and hopefully tonight, as he did in Game One, he just absolutely has a fantastic performance. At least if you're a Frostfire Simps fan, that's what you're hoping for, I'm sure. If you're a Pizzadog fan, you're hoping that Squid just botches his buttons, buys the wrong items, and feeds. Of course, we get a Game Three, but that is two sides of the same coin, I suppose.
Huh? And they do have one here that's actually pretty good against the Ember now with this 15 pick Oracle. You're able to just purge the Flame Guard forever. As well as you can't really do anything about it. Ember occasionally buys the Lincolns. I doesn't really look like the best Lincolns game right now, but Oracle, just by the way that Fortune's End works, even if you're invincible, you'll still break the Lincolns. So if Ember tries to slight to kind of dodge the Fortune's End will still break at Ember Lincolns even when he's invulnerable.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Ashley. I'm happy to learn that interaction today. I always figured that, like most things in Dota, you could just Sleight of Fist to dodge the projectile, but his Fortune Gun is just. It's too powerful for Sleight of Fist to handle.
I mean it's a little weird. I think if you just like I think you can just dodge Fortune's End. Like yeah, I think you can just dodge the projectile and not get rooted, but I think it's just specifically the Lincolns, which I didn't really have any reason to mention, but
I'm happy to learn them. These are
uh,
these are things where I had no clue what happened. It's Dota 2 for you.
I like this Grimstroke pick though by Frostfire Simps a little bit. I think they'll have to pick some kind of hero that synergizes well with it because they don't really have any Soulbind heroes right now. Shadow Demon's interesting, but it's not really ideal. Well, okay, I mean that is sort of a Grimstroke partner, but it's not exactly a Soulbind hero. I think the Soulbind against Spirit Breaker is a great way of stopping the hero. They already have Demonic Purge, but if you Soulbind Spirit Breaker, very often his charge will get cancelled just because he will end up charging into one of his teammates and he'll get leashed to them. But Ink Swelling Ember Spirit is also just a phenomenal usage of that spell. Ember is a hero that naturally just kind of gets in there, especially earlier on in the game. If you get earlier levels of Ink Swell, Ember can just be an absolute menace. And even if Oracle purges off uh, Grimstroke's third spell, the Inkswell, it still stuns the heroes around him. So, for instance, Grimstroke puts Inkswell on the Ember, and the Ember remnants in. Even if Xeriscape reacts quickly and purges it off the Ember, uh, heroes around the Ember will still get stunned, which will most likely be the Oracle, because generally the way that these save supports go is you just try to target them first in the team fight so that they're not able to get an ideal save on a kind of big durable hero, like, for instance, a Death Prophet.
It's going to be a very interesting game for sure. And just in terms of like the juxtaposition of these styles, where I'm looking at these Dire heroes, the goal is to not die, and these Raiders like, all right, we're going to kill them. Where it's like, all right, we're going to jump in with the Ember, jump in with the Earth to try to burst down a hero like Kunker or DP, but these are very hard heroes to kill, and you throw in a charge, you throw in a false promise, and it's going to be very much more easily said than done.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this Oracle Death Prophet combo, especially, is something that I think you used to see a lot of popularity. Even like teams that even go as far as like first phase this duo. It's like very strong. If you get to false promise the Death Prophet, then like pretty much always she'll just come out full HP if she's able to get some Spirit Siphons off. Or like, even better, if the Exorcism's coming back to her, you're just always full HP. But it's a little bit annoying in this game. I mean, these people have a very good lane against this Ember Spirit, but Ursa is one of these heroes that can very easily get on top of the Death Prophet and just kill you and abuse the fact that you end up being low armor unless you kind of tech into armor items really heavily, like buying some plate mails or like even finishing a Shivas or an AC.
The Shiva sounds like a pretty good option in this game, but at long last they have something to pair with the Soulbind. It's the Burrow Strike. Perhaps not as powerful as, say, an ability like Doom would have been, but Doom was banned out understandably by Pizzadog. It's obviously the classic Grimstroke Doom combo. So instead they opt for the Sand King and say, you know what? We already have two cores who like to go in, jump, do damage. Have a third one who does that. Why not? And just hopefully burst down the DP either before EXO or during the EXO. Burst down the Kunkka perhaps before he gets the BKB up, before he gets the Rum buff. And hopefully we can eliminate the ability for these dire side supports to save them, which is mean, sure, it's possible, as you say, have an Ursa jumping onto a Kunkka and a Zenkin jumping onto the Oracle necklines, but it's always easier said than done with the pure quantity of safe coming out from Pizzadog. This last pick, though, will really give away what their draft is going for, whether it's this like safely farming Kunkka, or perhaps a more like a 3-roll Kunkka for Sheepsticked. There's a lot of options here. It could be, it could be a 4-pick, a 3-pick, or a 1-pick right here, right now, depending on what they want.
I'm going to. I mean, I'd say pretty much every time I'm wrong about these guesses for Pizzadog. Okay, well, I won't even get time to guess. Okay, they're gonna pick Lena. Yeah. I mean, is Skyward gonna play this Lena? This is my. That was the thing I was going to say. Is I think it's gonna good chance it's going. Okay, yeah, it's going to be safely farming Kunkka, and they're gonna last pick some kind of mid hero that does very well against the Ember. Yeah, I think when you do pick Ember this early, I'd say definitely gives the other team the opportunity to counterpick your heroes. There are a couple matchups for the Ember Spirit that are just kind of not necessarily unplayable, but just like absolutely destroy the Ember Spirit in lane. Monkey King, SF, Lina is also incredibly good against the Ember, and even though it's like probably a little bit more skill based, this matchup is quite Lina favored. And if you make like even half a mistake on Ember Spirit, then your game can get very bad very quickly.
Yes.
As well as sorry.
It's funny how I predicted be either a 1, a 3, or 4, and ended up being a mid pick. So I named more than half the rolls in Dota, and I still was wrong. But I'm guessing you mentioned a lot of these interactions between the mid lane. Are you just in general in favor of this Pizzadog draft right now?
Honestly, not really that much. I think I think that both these teams definitely have chances this game. I'd say that this draft is pretty interesting, but I do kind of like the idea of Frostfire Simps draft against Pizzadog's draft. These heroes with Inkswell just kind of like running at these backline ranged heroes is going to be like quite obnoxious for them to deal with. The Lena's going to need an extremely good game to be able to live like the Ursa getting on her, for instance.
You know what? I agree with you last game. This game, I'm going to disagree. I think this overall team fight combination with the Exo, the boat, and so on is going to be too much. And I think Xerioscape is going to pop off this game, have some clutch false promises, and really allow his teammates to carry him here.
Well, I hope you're right so that we can get a game 3. Those are always fun.
I hope I'm right too. If you are just joining us, though, welcome to game number 2 of the League of Legends Season 8 Finals. We have Frostfire Simps. They won game 1 in a 40-minute affair, and we are now looking at game 2, where Pizzadog on the Dire look to jump back, make it a game 3. My name is Badger. I am once again joined by the young God Logical, and once again, I will say the words once again. Hopefully we're in for game number 2.
Last game there wasn't really a whole lot going on at level 1. There weren't really like heroes kind of invading or going anywhere, and looks like a little bit more of the same right now. Pizzadog kind of like congregating around this bottom area, but getting kills for them isn't the easiest really. I guess they could get some kind of like charge into Fortune's End, but it might leave one of these heroes having to steal something that they wouldn't want to normally. Like a Bingu might have to get Torrent, which I mean it won't like completely ruin his lane, but yeah, okay, looks like there's nothing happening. I'm just there crafting for no reason.
We saw last game where he decided instead to skill Torrent for the kill, he went for the tiebreaker just for the damage, and ultimately it was. I mean, Bolt died. He just didn't die the way they intended him to die.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true to the Roshan there. Yeah,
it's like he didn't get the kill, but he did still die. I mean, it ended up working out for Fume though, because obviously he had his 2 before Sheepstick had her 2, and then Sheepstick just died. But onto this game, it's a relatively standard start. There's 2 bounty runes to each team. Of course, Frostfire Simps grabbing the west side ones, and Pizzadog grabbing the east side ones, and the mid lane, it once again begins. It is Ember taking on Lina, very fiery matchup going on, and you mentioned how it should be a Liam-favored lane, but Squid is a very good mid lane player.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was a very like. If Skyward doesn't get that denied there, I'd say he's like behind in this lane almost. That was. I kind of already don't really like Skyward's approach to this matchup. I think he'll be okay once he hits level 3, just because once you have Fiery Souls, Lina doesn't really break the Flame Guard with Ember Spirit. Yeah, and that was solid, but at this point, Squid kind of like messed up the first wave now, so it's gonna be hard for him to really like win this lane or kind of like come out on head. But yeah, I mean the way this matchup goes is Lina like really isn't very good at breaking Ember Spirit's Flame Guard just because of the way that the damage numbers work out and all the nukes. And so the way that you kind of win this lane as Lina is you just keep your Fiery Soul stacks up, and a lot of the time you can also use Light Strike Array to stun Ember just because he's a melee hero, which so you can kind of like bait him around creeps and whatnot, and you can always kind of keep the Ember Spirit low HP so he can never really make any aggressive moves on you, as well as Lina just kind of does so much damage with the attacks being her natural base damage that lane gets really hard for the Ember Spirit just because he doesn't really feel like he can do anything. He can't really go on you, he can't hit the creeps. But Skyward went for like no stun, just going for this 2-0-1 build, which is something that you see a lot against ranged heroes, like SF for instance. I'd say a lot of the times you could skip stun, but I don't really like it that much in this matchup. And even though he will be able to break Flame Guard and 2 Dragon Slaves, it's not really the way that you want it. I don't think this is the right read for this lane.
Yeah, 2 Dragon Slaves is a lot of time. That's 9 seconds, which is basically the duration of Flame Guard, so you might not have the effectiveness you may be intending upon. Over to top lane, we are seeing a bit of a fight on Bingu, walking forward, but ultimately, despite having that sentry coverage, there should be no kill. She bottom lane, Ursa taking a lot of damage under the tower, but she doesn't get a kill quite yet. Fume, though, is being charged under the tower. Charge comes through. Gripstorm is there, and Fume goes down. First blood drawn by ET. Inkswell, though, is the return. ET is on the run. Will not go down, thanks to having 5 armor and a metric ton of HP. So, first blood by Pizzadog, and no strings attached.
That was quite unfortunate as well. ET killed both of the bottom lane couriers there before he even, like, that's why he was already behind the towers, just because he's back there killing couriers. And so, like, Fume feels very bad. His courier dies, and so he has to wait for that to respawn. He doesn't even get his item from base because his courier is just dead. So he's gonna have to wait for that that stick.
It's one of those things where it's already looking a little bit rough, but you get every little advantage like that, and it's just going to pay off for Pizzadog pinching this bottom. And then once again, going in with the Siphon and the charge, Fume is man-fighting though with Inkswell, going for ET. ET is charged on cooldown for a very long time, and should go down here. And it will go down here in 2 more hits. 1. And there's 2. That is now 1-to-1 kill score. Both kills occurring in the bottom lane so far. Top lane, once again, the brawling is not happening. Sandstorm preventing that one from occurring. And then mid lane, as you mentioned, it's Ember, Lina action. Currently, it's Lina, as expected, ahead. 23-9 versus the 17-0 of Colonel Squid.
Yeah, Skyros doing completely fine. I had mentioned I didn't like his approach to this lane, but I mean, he's still doing fine. And it seems like just kind of the way that carry players generally play the mid lane, I feel, is they play more farm-based, and I think Lina's very good at this. You can play kind of just like a low interaction mid lane, just nuke out the wave and then go farm the small camp. Lina's incredibly proficient at farming the small camp.
Remember that death on ET about a minute ago? Not even. It was a very tactical death. He just TP'd mid lane and filled the bottle of Skyward. So ultimately the death helped this team. All is well.
And especially because he, ended up getting a carry kill for that, so yeah, I'd say all around it's quite successful.
Well, we are seeing a bit of creep cutting action by Journey. He's grabbed the dire side wave, and he is dragging away to likely between his tier 1 and tier 2 tower, perhaps even this hard camp. He's chosen hard camp instead. Sandstorm is still on cooldown, but he should still get the lion's share of these creeps. He missed one neutral, other than that, he should get all of these.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say this play is actually kind of like fine because Dire doesn't punish it, but for the most part, I'd say what like the refutation to this idea maybe of pulling it to the hard camp would be just for Pingu to kind of take these creeps before they go into tower, drag it back into the hard camp. I mean, I feel like Journey doesn't really have to play so uninteractively in the top lane. It doesn't feel like it's that bad for him. So I mean, maybe that's why Bingu didn't opt for that.
Let's say charge Lagoon and down goes Squid immediately. The burst damage, just too much. Banishment is there onto the Lina. Inkswell's there as well, but Skyward is absolutely fine. Now ET's on a huge tower dive looking for Acid Rain. He needs a bash. Doesn't get it quite yet, but still wants it for sure. I mean, he is getting real aggressive right now. Acid Rain will salve, will survive, but the coordination. We saw Acid Rain distracted by Xeriscape over here to the northwest as Charge came through into LSA Lagoon and Dragon's Lane. It was just too much damage for Squid to survive, and fantastic job by Pizzadog bringing down Colonel Squid. And we've seen our Charge top lane as well. You've got Journey in the 1v3. Dust comes in. Journey will go down as well. It's another kill, this time to ET, and that's just... If you are a Pizzadog fan, you must be, I'm not going to say jumping for joy, but certainly quite happy right now.
Yeah, it does look like the game is going quite their way. And Skyward is going to just be able to play carry from the mid lane with the extra levels. Lina kind of just plays as a position 1 hero, but I mean, I don't really expect him to get too active, but he has the potential to do so even, just because he does so much damage early on.
It's one of those games where, I mean, they have 3 different 2-role heroes. So yeah, there's 2 Linas, 2 Kunkka, and there's 2 Death Prophet, and eventually somebody's going to carry this game for them, right?
Yeah, a little bit, I'd say so. I mean, I think this, yeah, actually, I'd say that's kind of true. They're all, like, similar-ish farm hardy for the most part, and they all are going to... Like, this is definitely kind of the way Pizzadog goes in a lot of their drafts. They end up picking, like, a lot of kind of, like, half-core heroes, or, like, they don't really pick one defined carry hero as much as they kind of just go for a kind of 3-core draft where they all end up making money and they all end up contributing to the ending of the game.
Well, Burrow, Inksful is there in Sheepstick. Sheepstick's Exo is over and she should go down. You know, the save from Xeriscape was enough for the time being, but they're still chasing forward. ET low, Sheepstick low, Xeriscape. So is Journey. Journey dies to the Purifying Flames. Now they bring in the poisons. They bring down Sheepstick. It's a 1-for-1 trade. It's both offlaners going down. Enough Squid dives and brings down Xeriscape, so there's a kill onto the Oracle as well. As a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the side of Frostfire Simps. We are seeing a lot of tower damage being accrued by the Radiant, though. The mid T1 and the bot T1 are quite injured thanks to the Exo usage bottom and the Lina existing middle.
Squid has Bits Travels finished already, 8 minutes. It's like, I think this is like, yeah, this is the ideal timing pretty much. This is what you hope for in the, like, optimized Lina game pretty much. He was able to get a kill, able to, like, farm everything that he wants to uninterrupted. 65 CS. I think, honestly, Frostfire seems like really have to do something about him. Otherwise, the game's going to get ugly very fast. They don't really have the best heroes for rotating like this. They might have to do something kind of janky, like bring in Ursa to the mid lane, or kind of stack a lot of heroes on this Lina to be able to kill her.
They might get ET instead. I mean, he has a charge on cooldown. He's silenced. He's changed on up, and he will go down. It's another death on ET, but ultimately, Skyward's fine. He is still farming, and during all that, we're seeing Bingu farming the top lane, Sheepstick farming the bottom lane, and Radiant have very little pressure in the lanes currently. This bottom lane is completely alone. This top lane does not have the Sand King in it, so far it's Pizzadog simply out-farming the map. We saw game 1 where once their heroes were online, they had a higher farm per minute in sort of equilibrium stage. And we're seeing it now where Dire can be farming much more than the map.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like Radiant have any heroes that can, like, stay in the lane. And even though maybe they didn't all, like, lose the lane, I mean, it all kind of feel like they all, like, lost their lanes to different degrees. But, like, none of these heroes can just, like, play in the lanes for the most part. They all kind of have to, like, rotate or move around.
Well, top lane, X-Mark Boat, predicated by a charge and dust by ET. Journey's on the run and should go down eventually, and will go down to the right clicks of ET. So ET, he is heavily on the board. He's been involved in every kill in his team and nearly every death as well at this point.
High impact player.
He's here to brawl, you know. He's just here to be in every single fight constantly. Either he will kill or he will die, and ideally both for him. He's ready to both kill and die.
But he makes good use of his deaths, as you mentioned early on in the game. It's doesn't die for nothing. Ends up, like, refilling the bottle there on his death, which is like, I would say that's, like, part of the skill cap of being a 4-player, maybe, is understanding, like, when you should die.
We are seeing a siege unit there, middle lane for both teams. Really, both of them might just die, though. Charge is there on the Squid, but it's a good remnant reaction, so good reaction time by Squid. And, well, you mentioned how you might be laughing if he doesn't dodge it, but this time you will not be laughing. I will be. I laugh a lot. Airstrike comes in with the Squid. Squid's a remnant up. Can he get it off in time? Yes, he can. And now it's Squid away, but Exo popped by Sheepstick. Radiant will whip this tower's not long for life with the Exo and the Siege unit in the area. Radiant, they're nearby as 3. This tower is just very, very dead. Now ET charges through on both supports from the off angle. X-Mark boat comes in. Acid Rain saves for now and actually tanks the Laguna. Acid Rain alive. Bulljack's not so lucky. In comes Dirty. Epicenter Burrow there on 3. DP low, but they're still alive. Sheepstick possibly dies. No! Still alive. ET low. Sheepstick low. Fostermus comes in. Journey dead. ET dead. Skyward dead. Everybody collapsing. Sheepstick will survive. That is 5 deaths in the middle lane. Ultimately, it is favorable for the side of Pizzadog.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, getting that kill on Lina is actually pretty big, but they still got the middle tower, and I mean, they were able to get like all their kills first for the most part. They're able to get Bulljacks all the way at the start, and then Squid dies first somehow, just partly thanks to the false promise save on the Death Prophet, and then as well just because it took a while there for the Lina to die.
It's a very clutch from Xera's with the false promise there. Sheepstick was incredibly low HP there, and false promise comes in, no death in the DP, and suddenly, if you had multiple cores die there on Pizza, it would have been the Lina and the DP dying. That would have been pretty bad, but with only one dying, it's no longer as bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can like take a small consolation prize in the fact that your Ursa was farming during that entire fight, but it feels like Ursa needs a lot of items to be able to match the strength of this Lina. He's not even at his Battle Fury yet, and it feels like he's going to need like Battle Fury plus like 2.5 items before he is able to fight Lina, assuming that they continue to farm at the same rate that they are right now.
Well, we see Boldax being run at by Sheepstick. Inkstill is the turn, though. DP does not get stunned. In comes a charge from ET. Bulljax goes down, and now it's Journey, who's dusted. And Airstrike comes in. He's half HP ready. ET will take a lot of damage as well. Down goes Journey, and in comes Squid. Chains it there to the Spirit Breaker. ET's still alive. Now goes down. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Now Sheepstick heads for Acid Rain. Acid Rain dies to Dragon Slave, and now Squid on the run. It's so far a 3-for-1. It might just turn into a 4-for-1. LSA hits. Laguna comes in. Colonel Squid goes down. 4 kills for Pizzadog, and well, they are beginning to ball out of control, and it's 13 minutes in, and they're up by 6,000 gold and counting.
Yeah. I think Pizzadog is doing a really nice job of kind of punishing Fume's build this game. I mean, Diffusal Blade like was like pretty much the premier build, I'd say, for a long time, and even though like Battle Fury has kind of been trending recently, it does feel like he kind of needed a Diffusal Blade this game, just because they are getting so punished right now, and it feels like he kind of needs to take part of the action. Also because he's kind of the hero that is meant to do the majority of these damage to these key targets. Like, he is the pretty much the only hero that can actually do all of the damage to Death Prophet. Otherwise, the only way you can kill her is either like Epicenter or like 5 or 6 Sleight of Fist during a very extended fight. And without the Ursa, it does feel like they are.
Oh. Look for Bingu. Bingu, though, is saved by False Promise for now, but it could be an awkward fight. Charge comes through, now cancel Exo Pop as well. Boat comes in, hits onto nobody, but gives a rum buff. Now Bingu is healed, Acid Rain low, Acid Rain goes down, they head perhaps to Journey. Somehow Drew can get out, and Airstrike comes in, he's now stunned up, but in comes Squid, trading onto 2 heroes in the backlines. Journey stood running, X-Mark comes in, down goes Journey, now Squid. He has been caught, he has been bashed, he has been silenced, he will find a death. It's 3 kills now for Sheepstick, and it's 15-7 kill score, 8k net worth lead, and they will begin to siege this middle tier 2 tower. Glyph is popped, but it's once again another massive teamfight win by Pizzadog.
Yeah, I'm not sure what timing they're going to end up playing for this game. It feels like Fume has the blink queued up, but even when he finishes that, it doesn't really feel like any of these fights are going to be easy. He's still going to be susceptible, especially to the Yule Scepter of Sheepstick, and so most likely going to need a BKB as well. But I mean, that's like quite a tall ask at this point in the game. It's only 400 gold towards the Blink Dagger right now, and so by that point, the Lina will most likely have like a BKB plus a full crit maybe like Daedalus, maybe Silver Edge.
This is the worst death from to have. It's the X mark. It's the silence. They're trying to just bring down Fume. The end range is popped, and in comes the Simps. They want to fight. Chains are there on two. Ursa jumps in. Oracle low. Oracle will go down. Both those stuns on two. ET once again charges in onto Acid Rain. Fume still quite low. Laguna is there on Journey. ET TP's away just in time, and now it's Epicenter coming in from Journey. Blinking on in for Skyward and Bingu. Bingu dead. Skyward trades at the Journey, but Skyward should go down here. Soulbind comes in on two. Skyward dead. Bulljack slow. Sheepstick has Typhon there onto Acid Rain. Now gets changed up by Colonel Squid. Will now walk away. Sheepstick is still fighting. Soulcatcher is there onto the DP, but she will walk away on that one. Now ET, who TP'd to Fountain, Shard is on through, I believe, onto the Bulljacks. I think Bulljacks will. Never mind. He recognizes that kill won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, ET would get that kill, but what's it called? Colonel Squid, smart, playing around his Grimstroke there, and would be able to cancel the charge with the slight chains. So.
That's a fantastic fight from the Simps, though. I mean, it's a 3-for-1. They saved their Ursa. Now they charge on the Squid. But Squid, the reactions are there in time, and now DP, SB, Oracle are bottom. EXO is up in 2. We're seeing a TP in by, I believe that is the Lina indeed, so it will be that bottom tier 2, possibly under duress. Die already have that outpost, so if they want to fight here, they can't easily make some intrusions, but for now they're content to playing in that Radiant side jungle.
Yeah, and right there is pretty much the reason that a lot of DPs, I mean mostly mid DPs, but have kind of shied away from the Yule Scepters because of the way that silence is reworked. You can't actually make those kind of Yule Scepter into silence plays against these like really kind of mobile heroes like Ember Spirit and Puck. You just can't time it because you have to wait for the projectile to actually reach for the silence to land. So if you're going for this play, like, wait, they have Fortune's End here.
Well, we saw an attempt, and it's actually successful onto Squid. Squid takes a glue, and Squid goes down. The Fortune's End, you mentioned it, comes in clutch. We're seeing a chart as well onto, that is Journey bottom lane. ET, though, understands, wait a minute, I am alone. That's the Sand King. He's not dying, but it does mean that after another kill on Colonel Squid, it's Pizzadog as 4 into the Roshan pit, grabbing that Roshan. It's already half HP. It will be the Aegis, likely a Skyward on the Lina. And if you're the Simps, it's just, Ursa's just still not online yet. He has the blink, but you mentioned the importance of that BKB, and he's an entire BKB away from the BKB right now.
That was pretty interesting, actually. I guess I was mistaken when I was talking during the draft, but the Fortune's End did hit the Ember there. It hit him in the Sleight of Fist, but after he came out of the Sleight of Fist, he was still rooted, so it seems like that is something that like can lock down the Ember if he's not careful. It seems like he'll have to activate Remnant while in Sleight of Fist.
They've caught Fume bottom, but in comes Journey. Is there a save in time? Epiburrow there on 3. Dive taking so much damage, but can they get on the kills? ET dead, Boat kills Fume. It's now a 2-for-1 trade with Journey being dead. Radiant try to engage, but is there enough damage? Sheepstick has the Exo popped, and Skyward has the Arcane Rune and the Aegis. Squid attempts to delay. Bingu will heal himself in the fountain with that X-Mark TP play, and it's once again Dire still hitting that tier 2 tower. LSA misses on Squid. Skyward goes in, goes out, and Bingu, having returned, looks to fight once again. Silence hits on Squid. Squid has an ink spell on him. It will not stun, understandably, and Pizzadog are once again content, it appears. They're playing on this high ground, waiting for mistakes. They have already traded favorably, and now Squid gets frisky. Silence, though, not there in time thanks to projectile speed. Torrent will miss as well. Tier 2 is under duress. Its low HP chains are there onto the Kunkka and the Death Prophets. Tower still low. Banishment there on Bingu, but the T2 is dead to Skyward. Now, Squid, Remnants away, and Acid Rain has a purge there to ET. ET is incredibly slow. Will not find the kill with that charge, understandably. And as a result, it is a favorable trade for Pizzadog, and they will back away into the Radiant jungle once again.
It's yeah, it doesn't really feel like Frostfire Simps have many plays. I mean, even with
what about that one top lane? Skyward loses Aegis immediately, and he's kind of alone right now. They have popped it. Sand King arrives. Chains are there, but now we're seeing a backline pincer by Sheepstick and Bingu. Charge comes through from ET Burrows there on two in the backlines on the Dire side. Kunkka, Oracle, both low. Both die. Zerscape dead. Bingu dies as well, and now it's ET isolated. He's brought down. Sheepstick Sour, they're fighting with a 2v5. Laguna hits on Sand King, but Sheepstick is just so low. Journey dead. It's a trade for Sheepstick. Now it's Skyward on the run. It's a 4-for-1 trade. Squid. Chains, they're there from long range. LSA misses. In comes Fume. Down goes Skyward. It is a full 5-man wipe. And for Frostfire Simps, a much needed teamfight win.
Yeah, I mean, that is like almost like a game-winning kind of engagement there for them. I mean, if they do end up making a comeback the game, I'd say this is definitely the turning point of the game for them. This is, I guess, Pizzadog just playing a little bit over-aggressive. I mean, they're obviously incredibly ahead for the most part, and were significantly stronger than Frostfire Simps, but did felt like they kind of needed to take a second there to regroup. Skyward just directly TP's top though, and I mean, honestly, good recognition from Frostfire Simps to just run there with like pretty much all their heroes. The Ember and the Ursa go to the same lane to just kind of like stack up on the Lita and try to kill her. And even with the BKB, she ends up going down in that engagement.
It's the south side of the fight did not go well for them though. You saw the chains there onto the Kunkka and the Oracle on the sort of like tri-camp high grounds. Eventually, both the Kunkka and the Oracle just simply die. ET dies on the south side, and then suddenly Sheepstick and Skyward in the middle of 5 heroes, and that's... I mean, usually you fight the 2v5, the 2 is going to lose, and the 2 did lose. So, there's good recognition, as you mentioned, by Frostfire Simps, just choosing their target prioritization in that teamfight. Bingu, though, is back on the Bloodlust. X-Mark, Torrent, are there, and Bulljack's charge comes in, Skyward comes in, Bulljax has left the building, he is now dead, and this top T2 tower will be under attack. It should go down quite easily. Exo is up. I doubt it will even be used, but if Pizzadog truly want to be bold, they can go for some kind of high ground play with the Exo here.
I think they're going to wait for the next Roshan, but they are quite a bit ahead. So...
Squid! Squid has played a little bit of dangerous Dota right there. He walked in 1v4 and luckily for him did not tank any of the abilities, just remmed it away, just had a very high risk, low reward play and does not get punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's high risk, but, like, truthfully, Pizzadog does not have very many consistent ways of catching Ember Spirit. He's had, like, quite a rough game. He doesn't have any defensive items. 22 minutes, just finished the Maelstrom. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, there aren't really any instant disables coming out from the side of Pizzadog. They have X marks the spot, but it's pretty hard to, like, time any spell perfectly on the X mark. Technically, you could make some kind of, like, charge timing play, but that sounds incredibly difficult to pull off. And, yeah, I mean, as long as Squid is kind of cognizant of the Lina and the Spirit Breaker, I'd say he is like free to make those plays until they actually finish some kind of instant disable item. Like probably a Hex is what I would be assuming on one of these core heroes, either the DP or the Kunkka. Or, I mean, honestly, even like an Orchid on the Kunkka, I wouldn't be too surprised. I said Bloodthorn is a item that has kind of been trending on Kunkka for a while at this point in these like mid-late game-ish.
Well, Radiant initiated an illusion in their own jungle, which means bottom lane, Bingu, Sheepstick, Skyward all hit the tower. It's already 2/3 HP. Squid arrives. The chains are there onto the Lina, but as a whole, Dire are having a good time right now. Looks like they will back off, but they forced out some TPs, they forced out a response, and they now will leave. We're seeing a charge that is onto Fume. Fume has no BKB yet, the enemy just popped in time, though. Yules brings him in the air, but they will not fully pursue. Chains come through onto Skyward once again, but he is still relatively fine, kind of low on HP, but for now his team will back off once again, farming the map, and if you look at the Frostfire Simps, they are pretty much in their own base as a rule. Ursa has left it, but there's only really one lane being farmed right now as Pizzadog grabbed that Radiant Tri-Camp, they grabbed the Radiant Jungle, and they can farm to their heart's content right now.
Yeah, I mean, they are just gonna kind of have to farm the map for a while, wait for this next Roshan. They'll probably try to go with that timing. I mean, second Roshan, timing's a classic. They don't really have the best kind of shard abusers, but just
Well, this could
At
be
that
important, actually. They've found a fight with the 5-man smoke in their own tri-camp. They find Zera's camp. The immediate kill on Oracle is there. Now Skyward pops BKB, returning to the fight, but the Soul Mine is there to him and Sheepsticked. Bulljack's dead. Fume dead. Radiant begin the collapse. Squid on the run. Airstrike comes in. He's stunned. He's silenced. He's brought down. 3 kills for Pizzadog. Acid Rain's on the run, but he will eventually die. It's the charge. It's the bash. It's all the damage. It will be a 4th kill for Pizzadog, a double kill for Skyward. And with the EXO currently being active, he will begin to march high ground. Mid lane, perhaps the target. EXO still running, and Journey is still there, but his teammates all have no buyback, so it should be a relatively clean middle barrack siege.
Fume just got absolutely annihilated there by the tail end of that DD from Skyward. That was pretty unfortunate. I mean, that was like a nice jump. They kind of caught Pizzadog when they weren't ready, but they are just kind of so much stronger than them that they either need to take some kind of fight where they can somehow kill the Lina before she gets saved, or some kind of like separated fight where they're able to kill the Oracle or like one of these backline heroes far away from the rest of the team and collapse on the rest of the heroes afterwards. The game's not over for them though. They are 15k gold behind now, and they're gonna have to somehow manage a way of either taking this Roshan fight or beating Pizzadog after they have the second Roshan, but I mean, their throne is still alive, so they can be happy about that much.
They are trying to force the issue once again. It's the 5-man smoke. The last one did not go well, though. They scan out the Roshan. Smoke's popped on ET, but ET's invis. And ET, he is walking on away, still invis. Dust now comes in, but he charges through in time, and, well, in comes Pizzadog. Boat comes in. Sending a 4 heroes, a massive boat from Bingu. BKB's popped. ET's still alive. He may at long last go down, but Radiant, they're beginning to collapse now, and Journey low. Squid being kited around. Journey dead. Bingu still fighting. Journey about to get desperate. Laguna kills Bulljax, and now it's Squid trying to remnant in, but he's tanked the LSA. He has tanked the right clicks. He will tank another death. Fume. He man fights, but cannot win the man fight. It's a 4-0. Acid Rain TPs, but no. The Yules. And it will be a death on Acid Rain as well. It's a 5-0 trade. In Pizzadog, they may have just put the dagger in the throat of Frostfire Simps. Much like before, it's only Journey alive. Only Acid Rain has his buyback. The mid-range racks will go down. The top racks as a whole will follow. And 2 racks down with this lineup means it's probably over.
Yeah, Frostfire is really not going to call it. That's incredibly surprising to me. I figured after, I mean, they took a little bit of a desperate fight. I don't think it was the worst kind of like location for them to take, but yeah, I feel like once they're down megas, especially because Pizzadog is just gonna back into Roshan and then take that. But okay, I mean, I guess it's only 2 lanes, but they're still down 22k gold.
It's one more desperate fight. It is their last smoke, but they smoked under a dire observer ward. So Radiance, they ruse this up. They know they've been seen, and as a result, Pizzadog aren't even giving them the good opportunity. It's Sheepsticked in Skyward in the Roshan pit. EXO still active. Roshan will go down. Aegis Magnum Shard the spoils. We're seeing Bulljax is on ET. The charge comes through. ET's just buying the space right now. Burrow's there onto Zeri. The good target they can kill him. But Zeri's still alive. Boat comes in. False Promise is there. Boat will stun onto Journey. Journey will go down. That is a dieback. Now ET will be the trade, but Dire are fine with that one. He'll buy it back. BKB's popped by Sheepsticked. Illusions of Squid at long last go down as well. And now Squid remnants away, dodges the LSA, but it's now Pizzadog smoking to pursue. They see no heroes though. They will not find the right opportunity. They'll instead play it methodically. They have the Aegis, they have the Shard, they will push in the bottom lane, and they will have their eyes on that Mega Creeps.
Yeah, I think Journey will be alive by the time that they get here, which is like probably the only way that they can even hope to take a good fight is some kind of insane epicenter barrel strike on 3 or 4 heroes.
He's dead for like 10 once they walk high ground, right? Something like that. I think he's still barely dead for like 10 seconds once they walk high ground here. So there'll be no EXO, but there's still time to push for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, he won't have time to set up, so they will like even if he's able to get. Oh, okay. They're gonna take their time with it. Oh, they didn't even X Skyward back. He's just gonna have to run back. I thought they were gonna do some kind of XCP thing.
I thought they would too, but ultimately it's the XTP from... Nobody? Nobody. Interesting plays going on there, but
I think they might have just messed up.
There's a good chance you're right. There's a good chance you're right, but you know what? I think if you're Pizzadog, you're fine with that mistake. It's a relatively minor setback in what is a certainly winning position, and then some. Obviously, eyes on the prize. They have plenty of time still with 3 minutes 17 on the Aegis. And they're TPing skyward back into the bottom lane. They know their targets. They got plenty of time. They got their BKBs. They have the EXO once again available for Sheepstick. And it is the Simps desperately beginning what could be their last team fight of the game. They've set up on Journey. Sandstorm popped. Torrent misses. Journey has the spells. EXO is in now. T3. It is paper. It will shred immediately. Journey tanks Laguna. He's still alive, though. X-Mark, boat come in. Journey still dies of the damage from Bingu. Now it's Skyward. Man fighting once again. Brings down Acid Rain. Fume is in, trying desperately to fight. But Meliodox are dead. Fume is low. Bulljack's dead. Fume dead. Curl Squid. He's fighting, but that will not work. Remnant away, and he will barely survive, but it is Megas. And Skyward in the fountain. He is possibly overextending on this one, brings down Colonel Squid, and it will be the Aegis expiring in the fountain. But he's fine. He'll walk away. Bulljax tanks at LSA, tanks Dragon Slave. Somehow, they've not called GG yet, but it is GG in all but name. Mega's down, 2 forces to fall. There's no defenders, and it will be a game number 3 on our hands. Interesting.
I got nothing to say about that one.
All right, you've mentioned both your love for the all chat, but distaste for all chat when the throne is falling. And lo and behold,
I mean, it's not with the throne spot. I mean, honestly, no. I mean, I got no beef there. I think it's. I've said that is like that's one way to do it. It's just I mean, no, actually, I don't know. I guess I'm just biased. I guess. I don't have any problem with that. I think it's fun. Probably adds a little spice as well going into this game 3.
I'm excited for Game 3, of course. It is that all-deciding Game 3 in our hands, and I'm happy I was right about the draft prediction. You know, it ended up Pizzadog had some key team fights, a lot of good false promises in Xeriscape, and apparently 14 games in a row, second pick is 1, so this Game 3 coin flip will be all-important, where perhaps the second pick team may simply outright win the game as they have the last 14 games in Lads, which was... Let's double check that one, which series that was. And that is Losers Finals, where Pizzadog won. Frostfire Simps, who won Winners Finals. No-Ban players who won Losers Semis, and then the no-ban players taking on First Team All Cursed. Apparently those are the last 14 times. And apparently in all 14 of those games, second pick won. I don't have an exact verification on all 14 of those games, but if that's true, that is a massive statistic.
It's the second pick is obviously the 24 pick, so this can very often just be one of those kind of game deciding picks where you can very often just turn the game by picking some kind of uncountered hero.
Seeing some weird chat in the chat right now. I think the Simps are looking to have some fun, and Bingu is not understanding that Journey is doing some trolling right now. From what I can tell, maybe we're acquiring some beef. Maybe we're getting some spice on our. Oh my god, Journey's actually such a head ass. What the hell? We are waiting on Game 3 though, where we are making your comment on that one, but we are waiting on the players to jump into the slots for game 3. We have the coin flip now coming out, and let's see who wins it. It is Frostfire Simps who, much like game 1, win the coin flip. They will unsurprisingly pick second pick. And for Pizzadog, it will be playing. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa! They've chosen Dire. They've chosen Dire.
I'm surprised you're that torn up over that. Dire has won both of these games so far.
I know, but it's rare that you see teams select Dire. Usually, when given the opportunity between Radiant and Dire, the selection is Radiant.
Honestly, I think that aside from like the very like tippy top level of Dota, I think that side like for the most part does not really affect gameplay. Like I think you kind of just like play the same whether on Radiant or Dire. I don't think you'd like make any major strategy differences. I think there are definitely like some changes between the sides, obviously, like the whole like Roshan dynamic and like obviously Dire jungle is a little bit better for farming.
All right, so
But like honestly, for the most part, I think it's just a comfort thing. I think they'd also probably like last game they felt happy about Dire. That maybe they're planning on picking Kunkka again, and Kunkka can kind of like farm the Dire camps pretty well. You can double tidebringer a lot of these camps. So I mean, yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not that surprised.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some more water, go to the bathroom. I will see you in 2 minutes. If you need a few minutes, I will leave you when I come back. I will see you soon.
I'm good. Dog banned. Night Stalker, huh? That's something. I've been Brewmaster every game, so this means they don't ban Weaver. So switch to the following heroes. They can leave and they can leave OD, Monkey, Weaver, Honka. They're gonna ban a Spear Breaker. Okay, so yeah, all the following heroes. I mean, this is like the first time the OD has been left like, or yeah, has been left through the ban stage for the most part. And Pizzadog take it. I mean, this is hero just kind of absurd in the laning phase, and you end up doing a lot of damage post laning as well. You can that hero as well as just a Roshan taker in every position, just 1, 2, 3. Even used to be seen in 4, and even pause 4 OD can kill Roshan after a few items. Just like Tranquil's Meteor Hammer plus a 4 staff, and you're able to do enough damage with Loki in order to take Rosh. Oh, actually, I kind of like this approach by Frostfire Simps. They leave in OD and they take Rubik, which is one of the best counters against the hero, as well as like obviously it's a comfort hero for Acid Rain. And Peace is gonna run back the Oracle, one with the last game. It's a classic Xeriscape hero.
Remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
I'm back, logical.
Alright. So, I'll say nothing spectacular has happened in the draft, but OD did make it out of the ban phase, and Pizzadog instantly snapped that up.
Ah, that's spectacular. What is interesting though is I'm seeing a lot of like former lads champions in the chat right now making their comments. Like I'm seeing Sasquatch, obviously 2-time champion. I'm seeing Teddy in the chat. You know, obviously last season's champion. A lot of champions. They're giving their thoughts right now, and they're rooting for teams or not. I'm actually right now. We're seeing the coronation of a new champion team where if Pizzadog wins, it's a brand new team to them, but three new players who've never won last to win it. Obviously, ET won with Dark W seasons 5 and 6, and Xeriscape won on season 3. But for Frostfire Simps, they have no champions ever. This is a team that's been really the bridesmaid in a lot of different seasons, getting 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place before, and well, here we go. It's high pressure. Obviously, it is the winner take all game 3 in grand finals.
Yeah, who do you want to see win badge?
You know, I am fine with either team winning. I got some friends on both teams. I think no matter what, it's going to be fun. My only hope that we see a competitive game 3. Game 1, pretty competitive. Game 2, other than like one good fight, not very competitive at all. So I'm hoping that we get a very competitive game 3.
5 seconds remaining.
I can agree with you that much. I think. Yeah, I mean, should be pretty solid. I think we already got some like comfort heroes for the most part. Running back Bojack Hero from game 1, the Asarin Rubik as well.
Oy, oy, oy. This is going to be definitely a different style of game. I can tell you that much. Where I know last game we had some burst damage, but there's a lot of burst damage right now. A lot of like we're going to see some real heavy jumps in these fights. It appears where you'll see like an OD jump or a Pangolier jump, and then somebody might just melt instantly. Assuming at least one of the other cores on both teams is that sort of style of hero where you jump in, you do damage. It may be one of those games where it's jump in, burst in before, say, Jakiro can lay his spells in the ground, before Oracle can get a False Promise off. We might just see a very fun style of Dota in that sense. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but it is what I'm thinking.
I think the one thing that I'm honestly really interested to see is who's actually going to play OD on Pete's Diet. This hero just feels permabanned, I mean, especially in League of Lads, and honestly, like none of the Pizzadog players really give OD player vibes to me. I mean, I'm sure Skyward also always kind of plays the flavor of them with heroes, and so I'm sure he's like completely fine playing it. The hero is like pretty often played as a 3 position, but I mean, I know at least from my time being on a team with both of them for a few of these like DPC seasons that Sheepstick isn't really much of a OD player. We never even really talked about OD for the most part, even though I had shown some desire to play the hero.
10 seconds remaining.
We're seeing Clockwork as well, so we're getting some real different heroes in game 3 where OD has been very contested. So contested he has been unable to be picked. He's now picked. I believe Pango was banned in one of the drafts earlier in the night. It's now picked. It's his first appearance of the series. Clockwork, his first appearance of the series. Bloodseeker as well, where we've watched a lot of these like pro games where when you see players like say Luki picking Pangolier, a lot of times they protect him with a Bloodseeker ban, but because it was that 15 Pango pick, the Bloodseeker was ultimately not banned, and Pizzadog did suddenly have this one of the premier counters to Pangolier.
Remaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting. Honestly, like a lot of the times on these 15 picks, you'll protect them with your second phase bans. So, like, yeah, I don't think it would have been too unreasonable for Frostfire Simps to have banned Bloodseeker, like, on that 14 ban and then picking Pango right after, because you do have access to that. But, I mean, they probably value these other bands more. So,
Dire team
and
ban.
I mean, having your like most of your offline hero countered by what I mean, I'm gonna say it's a carry Bloodseeker. Just that's just my guess, but I'm sure Sheepstick could play it as well. Like having this counter matchup isn't like it won't just like completely end the Pangalairs game. He'll still have some kind of counterplay, but Bloodseeker's obviously phenomenal counter against Pangalair. Disrupts the role quite a bit.
I love this selection of Wraith King. Do you love it? I absolutely love it.
You know, I think he's gonna get kited a lot.
Radiant team ban.
I think he's fine with that though, because if he's being kited, I'm not sure what they could use to kite him that they don't not going to want to use on different heroes. Like they can maybe like rupture him and put like a slow like a cogs on him, but I'm sure rupture's going on to Pangolier in 99.9% of ideal fights.
10 seconds.
And then I guess like Clock and Oracle abilities can just kind of be thrown errantly after kite around Wraith King, but
Remaining.
if he goes for a sort of like standard armlet Deso BKB Blink sort of build, I think he is
Team
going to be in a very good spot to either be the brunt of tanking damage, which is fine, or get a jump to the backlines, which also should be fine.
Yeah, I think actually that's a good point. Is I think he is going to be like a lot of the front line just kind of absorbing damage because I think for the most part he's going to kind of find it hard to find heroes to hit for the most part. I mean, the OD is going to have a phenomenal lane, and most likely, or like there's a solid chance OD goes for the Agnum Scepter, so you're able to save like at least one hero, like pretty much always in the Wraith King. And I mean, you're also able to just kind of put the Wraith King under if he's not BKB. And there's a good chance as well that Rubik will just be looking to steal Astral from OD every fight, and the Rubik is going to most likely be astraling the enemy heroes as well. And so the OD is going to be astraling his teammates. The Rubik's going to be astraling the enemy team as well, just because it puts them out of the fight for so long, thanks to the debuff amp.
And we are now coming on into that penultimate pick of the draft, the final one for Pizzadog. The bans, they're finished. No more bans. All season, this is like the last bans of the season. And it's two different very style of bans. I mean, Pizzadog ban out two mid laners, and Frostfire Simps ban out two cheese heroes.
I don't think Nagas is a cheese hero, but I mean, I think they just don't want to play against it. I think
Team pick.
you definitely have to play the game differently. Like run back Lena. So this is offlane OD.
Offlane
Carry
OD,
Bloodseeker?
carry Bloodseeker, yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought safe lane OD, offlane Bloodseeker for a moment, but that makes a lot more sense going the offlane OD. We've seen a number of pro players playing the 3 OD in their games, both in their pro games and in their pubs. And also, I mean, if you've been playing any bit of pubs recently, you've probably dealt with some dude playing OD3 in your games, ruining your day, so not too shocked we're seeing it now. And for the Simps, they're looking at what is likely a middle lane selection. I know Squid can play Pangolier mid, but I've talked to him about it. He does not like to play Pangolier mid. He doesn't think it's particularly good mid right now, so looking at a hero of his choice. Ember, Void Spirit, both available. Other than that, his preferred heroes of choice that we're all banned out right now.
Actually, I wouldn't be like too surprised if it was a carry Lena. I think I'm struggling to remember exactly what player was the one. I think it was I think it was OG maybe during Dota Pit that they pulled that out. But I feel like I have seen carry Lena somewhat recently, and I think it does kind of make sense as the natural progression for the hero. You obviously like the levels quite a bit, but I mean, you do kind of just play like a carry hero. You just build to get a BKB and right click heroes with the crit. So I don't think it's like entirely unreasonable. I only say that because I kind of just don't expect Sheepstick to play OD. I mean, maybe they'll do some kind of role swap action, but I don't know. I guess I'm just curious.
I forgot
Maybe
that
I'm just
Squid
coping.
likes Puck. That's something I probably should have called other than the Void Spirit and the Ember Spirit.
Okay, Sheepstick is
He
out.
loves Puck.
And I'm just wrong.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but sometimes, you do your assessment of the game, and sometimes the players, they say, you know what, we assess the game differently, and it's a disagreement of opinion, obviously. But that's Dota 2 for you, We're at the point now, though, where we are jumping on into the end of the draft, and who do you favor here looking at these two teams?
Well, so far I'm 0 for 2 right now. So I'll still stay what I genuinely think. I like Pizzadog's draft a little bit more here. I think OD is really strong, even though they have the Rubik, which is one of the better counters to it. I think Shipstick should still have a phenomenal lane. Even though Jakiro Wraithkin can do a lot of damage, yeah, I think OD is just really strong right now, and this Astral Save will be extremely obnoxious for Frostfire Simps to deal with. You're able to Astral Coiled heroes, Astral Hover the Wraithkin goes on, and think that even though Skyward like maybe had a couple of mishaps after the laning phase in the last game, I think he was quite proficient at Lina and will most likely just be able to have a solid lane. I mean, the Lina versus Puck lane is quite Lina favored. You don't really kill the Puck, but normally the Puck is like quite annoyed and like very outlasted, and like that's pretty much what we saw last game as well. So I assume Skyward's just gonna kind of play for his own game, and he should be able to carry the game.
I'm going to agree with you this time. I agreed game 1, disagreed game 2. I think I'm going to agree again game 3. I just like the way that the fight looks for Pizzadog. I think Wraithking in particular should have a pretty good game in the fights, but I think a lot for it's going to be a hard fighting game for Colonel Squid. I think if he can come through clutch, get some huge coils, say if he gets like a relatively early like 3rd or 4th item Ags, get some coils on a BKB Bloodseeker, BKB Lina, then these fights can turn. But I think in general this dire draft is easier to succeed on, so I'm going to agree with you in prefer Pizzadog. If you are just joining us, though, it is a good time to join. It is the last game of League of Legends Season 8. It is the Grand Finals, winner-take-all, Game 3. Game 1 was won by the Simps. Game 2 was won by Pizzadog in Game 3. Both teams know the stakes. My name is Badger. I'm once again joined by the young god, Logical Dota. And, you know, this is going to be a hell of a game, hopefully.
Yeah. I like this play by Frostfire Simps, though, immediately at level 1. They kind of condition them into thinking that nothing would really happen at level 1, but they go and smoke out a base for this final. Game 3 doesn't actually end up catching anyone, unfortunately, but because they smoked out and the Puck was like orbed forward to get the ward up as soon as possible, ends up scouting Skyward, and so they're going to get this mid ward instantly. Pretty nice for this lane.
It's a good start, but I think Dire actually pinged out the area where the Radiant obs was, so we may see both mid laners losing their obs at minute 0 or similar this game. It will be 2 bounty runes to both teams, though, so nothing too out of the ordinary quite yet. Relatively standard start, and looking at some bit of EG lines in the all chat, and we're looking at some fun lanes. You mentioned in the draft how Lina should be favored into the Puck. Looking at the side lanes, though, let's start with the bottom lane. How do you think this bottom lane is going to turn out here?
I think that OD is going to press Arcane Orb on the Wraith King.
Yeah. So it's going to be very you're expecting
that's
a good
that's my
lane
analysis.
for Sheepstick to DT the Puck. Yeah. That's like the most succinct thing you said all day, yeah, it's just so accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a little bit more difficult for Dire than I'm making it out to be. Jakiro, yeah, like, they can go pretty aggressive. These heroes do a lot of damage together. These are both very high damage heroes. But Odie does press Q once on the Jakiro, and he's at 200 HP.
And then, same question for the top lane.
I think Bigu should, like, farm pretty freely for the most part. I think, Bloodseeker is just extremely durable hero for the most part. You're able to heal from thirst as well as you just have 7 armor and 700 starting HP, like one of the tankiest heroes at level 1.
You know what? This was a great game to cast because you already know, with little exception, all the action in the bottom lane. I can just keep my camera up here unless something like just goes crazy in the other lanes.
Yeah, you know, I was saying I didn't really like the way that Skyward was playing the lane in the previous game, but I do like the way that he's playing this one. He has Q level 1, so maybe he just does that every game, but I think it's a lot better in this matchup because stunning Puck can be like very difficult, especially after level 1 where he just has phase shift. It ends up being a lot of 50-50s on whether or not like the Lina has fake casted or not. But like this way of playing Lina, I think, is a lot better against Puck, just because you're able to like trade very effectively. Puck's a incredibly low armor hero and Lina quite a high armor hero or armor, which is quite a bit for in hero, as well as just like hits him multiple times. So
And it's one of those things, especially when you have a hero with that long attack range, it's not too hard to, get those hits on that one armor puck. And we're seeing a bit of brawling in both the side lanes. Nobody is dying yet, though. Keyword is yet. I would expect bottom lane, once the opportunity comes, something might happen. For now, I'm sure Sheepstick is very fine with Equilibrium being right over here, right in the sort of like area of that dire T1 tower.
This looks insanely bad for Radiant. I thought this is kind of earlier stage of the game would be where they can do better. Like maybe this Wraith King is able to like skeleton stun the OD, so that that'll be a way of kind of like chipping at Sheepstick's HP so they can't play aggressive. But this kind of creep wave has just been like in her control the entire lane. It seems like so far ET's done a nice job of contesting pulls so that they haven't been able to get anything. And yeah, just kind of looks like Dire has got this lane under control. Sheepstick has a 3-minute ring of hell. Bull Jackson barely misses the Observer Ward at the sentry.
That's very sad. And I mean, the lane looked good for Radiant for about 30 seconds, and then from then on out for the next 3 minutes, it's been pretty awful for them. The moment we see the first Arcane Earth from Sheeps, it's like, alright, lane's lost, go next. Unfortunately, you can't go next, though. There's no more games. It's the last game. There are no go next games.
And yeah, and the window of opportunity to actually like get an advantage against OD in lane's pretty short, because once he has Meteor Hammer, you literally don't have any there's no options pretty much. You just have to get out of the lane if you're the carry.
Both side lanes trading going on the bot lane. Will not die first as Germany dying top lane as Xerxes get first blood drawn by Pizzadog, and we knew that Pizzadog were going to get first blood. The question was not if, but where. Both Journey and Fume dropped very low. Ultimately, it was Journey who died first in the top lane. Fume survived for the time being, but the trading going on top lane, they have a Purifying Flames and a Fortune's End on the Ruby goes on as well. It's 2 kills for Bingu and Xeriscape. Meanwhile, mid lane, Squid tries for a big play, cannot find the kill, and the lane phase has been all Pizzadog so far. Mid lane, Skyward's winning it. Top lane, Bingu and Xeriscape are winning it. Bottom lane, Sheepstick and ET are winning it. All 3 lanes being won.
Yeah, I think Skyward is still playing this lane quite well. I like that he is like, pretty much just ignoring the puck. He's hitting him when he comes up to hit him occasionally, but other than that, he is just kind of dragon slaving creep waves and then going to the small camp. I think he's killed the small camp like 2 or 3 times already at the 5-minute mark, which I'm fairly confident Colonel Squid has killed his small camp 0 times.
Serious question, how many courier kills does ET have this series? I want to say it's like 7 now? It's been a lot of courier kills from ET so far.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it was somewhere around there. Yeah, I mean, game 2 he killed 2 couriers in like 10 seconds at one point in the game.
This death to couriers brought by ET. As soon as ET, you're like, yes, couriers delenda est, and ET will pay for his courier crimes. He's been lifted into the Wraithfire Blast of Fume, and barring a miracle, Clockwork will go down here, and his death will be arriving. To the right 6 of Acid Rain, tried to knife the neutrals at that medium camp, but it did not work out for him, but it is a lot of space created. I mean, it's all 3 cores of your team farming as you're drawing the attention of 3 heroes.
That is like so bad for Fume. Like he didn't even get the kill last hit, so he just has to leave to the jungle now. I mean, he's gonna send out phase boots, but Sheepstick has the Meteor Hammer finished right now, and I mean, I think if she's like she still has her catapult alive. I hope she tries to keep its HP up either by astraling the enemy siege creep or astraling her own siege creep. But I mean, there's like a very good chance that she can just kind of take the tower with like 1 or 2 rotations.
We're at the point, I mean, that's Jakiro returning to the lane, but Wraith King is completely done. Queen recognizes, hey, if I stay here, I am going to die. I am off to the jungle. And Wraith King is one of the better jungle farmers, but usually he wants like level 5 or so, and he's currently level 4, so it won't be that fast farm-wise.
And yeah, I mean, Sheepstick, she did Meteor Hammer out the wave. I hope they glyph this on Dire. I think there's like I think this tower could very much just die, but doesn't look like they're gonna go for it.
We are on Glyph watch. Glyph not used.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're going for it.
ET's just on the dive right now. He's like, you know what? I see Bulljax. He's a Jakiro. Sheepstick arrives. Imprisonment. Meteor Hammer not up. It's probably not even needed. Batter Hammer, Cogs, Arcane Orb, and well, poor Bulljax. We're seeing a TP in by Colonel Squid. It's a jump on in, coils there onto, down goes Sheepstick, and should be a death on ET as well, assuming he just keeps dying here, and he will keep dying here. That's a massive rotation by Squid, not only avenging his killer of his Bulger Axe, but he got 2 kills on that one, and saved this bottom tier 1 tower, so the value added by a play by Squid there is absolutely important.
Yeah, that play went like pretty much about as bad as it could have for Pizzadog there. That was really unfortunate. The Chikiro, I didn't even know that you could cast Dual Breath while you're battery assaulted, but I think that because of one of the buffs to Dual Breath cast speed, you are able to get it off. And so that actually delayed his death by quite a bit, because aside from the Meteor Hammer, or aside from the Astral into Meteor Hammer combo, the OD doesn't really do that much damage. It wasn't.
Journey is going to probably... Actually, I thought he might die top lane. Actually, he did not end up dying. He was ruptured under that tower, but apparently he had enough wand charges just to not die there, and he's now salved up by Bulljack, so... Actually, it's good that Journey lived there. We're actually seeing the net worth lead for Pizzadog as being to shrink. It was above 2k. It's now back a bit below 2k, but it's staying stable, which is important. Like, it's a lot of times, like, I don't need even medical lounge here. You try to stop the bleeding, and right now, Frostfire Simps have stopped the bleeding. They have ensured that the game's not getting any worse, and that might be able to make a good play or two. And it may be easier said than done if your bottom tier 1 is dying, but at least stabilize the situation.
This is bottom tier 1 dying is just gonna happen against Outworld Devourer. It's gonna get the tower on this next Meteor Hammer. And I mean, Sheepstick, I think one thing that she has shown time and time again that she's like, quite proficient at is being able to take these mid tier 1 tower after she takes her own safe lane tier 1 tower. And I think that most likely her and ET will make some kind of rotation, smoke or not, towards the mid lane. I think though, most likely they're going to aim to get some Meteor Hammer or some Astral Meteor Hammer combo on the Rubik while he's defending the tower, and then after they're able to remove him, they most likely can just take the tower, especially because Skyward actually does quite a bit of tower damage, even though he doesn't really have any right-click items, just by virtue of Fiery Soul.
Well, top lane, we're seeing a bit of an attempt onto the T1 tower, but there's no heroes behind it. Over in the Radiant jungle, we saw a bit of a poke towards Fume, but Fume did not die farming his own jungle, so nobody's being caught currently. It's Pizzadog playing bottom lane, the Simps playing top lane, and I'm sure they will attempt on this tier 1 tower still. It's everybody there but the Wraith King. They have a siege unit arriving in a bit under a minute time, so not quite there yet, but if these dire creeps keep dying over here, then eventually this T1 tower will get brought down. And there's no trade quite yet. There's no attack on this tier 2 tower, and there's no rotation quite yet for this mid T1 tower. But with the dire side, Minotaur's siege unit coming, there probably will be that, as you mentioned, Meteor Hammer play on the mid T1 tower.
It's pretty interesting. Acid Rain just has a Agnum Scepter queued up. He went Soaring Tranks as well game 1, but I really like this read on this game. I think that Rubik as a hero kind of like doesn't do that much if you play a little bit of a sacrificial +4 role, and so I think with this Agnum Scepter, Acid Rain's going to be able to steal Astral Imprisonment pretty much the entire game, and Rubik with 2 charges of Astral with the debuff amp from Spellsteal is an absolute menace.
Coil's there on Sheepstick, but she is absolutely fine. Squid will rift away from the spells, the Bloodright in particular, and he will be fine, so nobody has quite died. Refire Blast is there on Skyward. Skyward just immediately goes down there. Skyward, perhaps positioning too far forward, perhaps thinking he was stronger than he was, goes down, and we're seeing the Stolen Imprisonment used on ET as well from Acid Rain, so that's 2 kills for the Simps, 1 on ET, 1 on Skyward, and not only do they defend their middle tier 1 tower, they're actually beginning to siege the opposing middle tier 1 tower. Their siege, not particularly fast, but if it's relatively unopposed, it will eventually die.
And I mean, they just have so many heroes here that they're going to be able to... They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Most likely they're going to be able to take it. I think, yeah, they're all just going to TP all their heroes back here to try to defend. And, yes, I mean, Squirt's pretty strong. If he's not caught out of position like he is, then he can do more than enough damage to kill, like, pretty much all the Frostfire Simps heroes. I don't think Pizzadog is too distressed over that Skyward kill, though. I mean, you would hope that he doesn't die, especially because he's kind of your win condition. You have this Bloodseeker carry, and Bloodseeker scales extremely well going into the late game. Just because of the items that you buy, and the shard's also extremely strong.
Big jump bottom lane on Sheepstick. She is alone and she's lifted, but has a defensive imprisonment to delay the kill for now. Xeriscape arrives, but he's silenced. There's no false response. Quillo's there on the 2. It's snapped. ET hookshots in, but Sheepstick will go down. They now move to ET and Zeri. They're both on the run. Xeriscape dead. They move to ET. ET trying to get away as Skyward TPs into the fight, brings down Aster, and then now turn over to Skyward, perhaps. ET's still juking around, now gets brought down. It is a 3-for-1 exchange, but for the Frostfire Simps, it's certainly a good one. It's you lose your Rubik, but you bring down a core and 2 supports. That is a great 3-for-1.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think, yeah, I mean, that fight was really good for Frostfire Simps. They were just, like, extremely ready for that engagement, were incredibly set up. They had both of these wards down, even though Pizzadog has this one observer ward, like, that's on this very high hill that was able to get a lot of vision. Frostfire Simps were just ready with all their heroes.
Bloodred comes in as does Rupture Fume. May lose his Reincarnate. Bingu's fast, but he's not that healthy. Journey goes down to the Sandy's Eclipse of Sheepstick. Reincarnate is popped, and Pizzadog want more. Fade Bolt, Dragon Slave is stolen, used on Skyward. Skyward dies, now Xeriscape is very low. Maidhammer comes in onto Fume. Fume is stunned, but still has 1 life. Hookshot comes in from ET. Boljack's low. Boljack's dies to Bingu, but Bingu will be the trade. Now it's Fume, still man-fighting, goes down. Now Pizzadog on the run, and it's a jaunt in by Squid, looking for Xeriscape. Imprisonment is there, though, from Sheepstick as the turns. Acid still looking for ET. ET will go down eventually to the stolen Dragon Slave. Back to Squid, he kills Xeriscape. Now Sheepstick looking for the kill. Coil's there onto 1, and Leash hitting onto the OD. Squid eventually will die to the banishment damage, but can Sheepstick get away? Squid dead. Stolen Imprisonment used by Acid Rain. Journey still rolling. Sheepstick still alive, but dropping rapidly. Arcane Orbs come in. Lift is there. Sheepstick tanks Death Path. Magnifier comes in. Down goes Sheepstick. Skyward respawns in. Stuns on Journey. Dragon Slave, though, will miss. Journey will survive, and with that Stolen Imprisonment, Radiant certainly will retreat. Big trade. I believe it favored Radiant, but that was a massive trade right there.
Yeah, but a lot happened in that fight, but the one thing that I want to highlight is that the Rubik, this was like such a nice fight for him. This fight pretty much sets up his game. I think Acid Rain is going to have huge impact going in later this game. He just gets a full point booster that fight. He was able to cast all his spells, like pretty much uncontested. Pizzadog didn't really run at him at all. It stole like a Dragon Slave early on and ended up casting Fade Bolt plus Dragon Slave like 3 or 4 times in that engagement. Does a ton of damage. Yeah, it finishes a point booster there, just like pretty much single-handedly from that fight. I mean, once he gets this Aghanim Scepter, he is going to be one of the strongest heroes on the map, maybe the strongest hero in the game, just because the extra debuff on the extra debuff amp on Astral Imprisonment is such a problem.
The more I think about that fight, I think Aslan was the one person who didn't die there. Because the fight recap had 8 heroes dying, and then Sheepstick died after. I think Aslan was the only person who didn't die in the fight, which is a bit wild, but look at his level. He's level 10 right now. His offlane's level 8. This is look at this.
This is absurd. What Rubik players live for, like straight up. They all just want to be core players at heart. They just take the tome, buy Aghanim Scepters, and they tell you to look at their damage number at the end of the game because they steal some kind of high damage spell.
I stole Dragon Slave, guys. I killed the Clockwork. And it worked out. I mean, Astro had a fantastic fight there, and because of these good fights that Frostfire Simps have been taking, the net worth lead is back to around 0. The tower trades, they've been relatively even as well, where you would expect the side of Pizzadog to be up in towers, but they're actually down in towers. They've only killed 1 tower. They've lost both their mid T1 and their top T1, which, given there is a Meteor Hammer OD, you'd expect the opposite, if anything, but so far, Frostfire Simps done a great job of defending their towers. And now there's a jump on the Xeriscape, Stolen Imprisonment, Ice Path, Fade Bolt, Swashbuckle, and the Shield Crash is the last hits. 3v1 for Xeriscape, not a great fight for him, and he is now dead. I believe he's looking to either ward or de-ward this shallow area of the Dire Jungle, but he is now in the grave.
I really like the way that Frostfire Simps are kind of playing the map right now. They have like a lot of vision in the mid lane, so they kind of have that area under control. And then Squid has been playing this bottom area with Boots Travels for quite a bit.
They have ruptured Acid Rain, but he stole shot and TP'd away in time. No, the imprisonment's there from Sheepstick. Bulljack's TPs. That one will be successful. Acid Rain, though, He survived the last fight. This time, not so lucky. They committed a lot to bring him down, but you know what? I think if your Pizzadog gets a moral victory, like, all right, the Stam Rubik needs to die. They actually missed the hook shot. It was stolen, but not enough of an escape. But good rupture there from Bingu.
That's actually a big deal, because, I mean, like, slowing down this Rubik's momentum is unironically, like, pretty important. If you could stop him from getting, like, if you can jump on him on a few more fights and kind of make his game not as amazing as it is or as it was, then the game is, these fights are a lot easier to play for Pizzadog. I mean, he's already, like, 500 gold away from his offlaner. Journey's been struggling, but this Rubik is going to not just transition into core, but be one of the stronger core heroes in the game if he's able to kind of like take another fight where he lives and is able to get a few of these kill last hits.
I want to hear your thoughts on Squid's build here. You see a lot of pucks nowadays go for the sort of like Witchblade, a lot of Yule Scepters, but he's going for the Travels Blink into... Oh, he had a Scepter Cube. We're seeing a hook shot there mid lane onto Acid Rain. Acid Rain has a Stolen Prism. Never seen a roll by Journey. After two coil comes down to one, the OD and the Oracle. Both of them will go down quite soon. Ice Path misses. Necropire is in. Xeriscape dead. We got False Off on the Sheepstick. Now she's trying to fight, looking to turn. Meteor Hammer comes in. She's stunned by the Red Fire Blast. Sheepstick dead. Now 2 dead on Pizzadog. Squid hunts for more. Coil is on cooldown, though, and it's Bingu walking away from the melee. But it's this time, it's this back and forth action constantly, and this time it is the Frostfire Simps who win the team fight. Squid blinks in for more. They break Fire Blast onto Bingu as well, and they move to Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker will go down to the Fade Bolt of Acid Rain. 3 kills. Good Fade Bolt from Acid Rain. It's 3 kills for the Frostfire Simps.
That's honestly what you should. I mean, I think I'm harping on this Rubik a little bit too much just because it's fun to me. Because I like being the Rubik in this scenario. It's extremely enjoyable to just be this 4-player who steals this one spell and you end up being incredible menace. But I mean, still, Frostfire Simps is playing pretty well. As you're talking about Colonel Squid's build, honestly, I don't really like it that much. I think this is kind of the thing that you do on Puck when you're like not that confident in your ability to like scale into like the mid and late game. Because I mean, if you go for the Switchblade build, you kind of
hook shot on Journey. Big kill can get it, but gets away barely in time. This is a stolen imprisonment once again. Saves from Acid Rain. Journey blinks away. The massive team coordination, and now it's an absolute chaotic fight. Bulljax TP's away just in time. Now we're seeing a rupture there into Fume. Fume has 2 lives, might just lose 1 right here, right now. Bingu is imprisoned, though, by Acid Rain. In comes Skyward. Fume at long last loses the reincarnate life, but Squid wants to fight Coil. It's up. Used on 3. Fume turns. Bingu dead. Sheepstick the target. Looking man by the Arcane Orb. Sheepstick dies. Fume eventually perishes, but a good turn at the end of that fight by the side of Frostfire Simps. That is 1 core for 2 cores, and I guess it's technically 2 kills given they killed Wraith King twice, but you're fine with that one if you're Frostfire Simps.
for sure. And yeah, okay, so Colonel Squid's build, I think we saw it there. I mean, I'm personally not a big fan of it. I think this is kind of something that you do if you're really not confident in yourself to be able to, like, super, like, and not really carry the game, but kind of, like, be the main threat on your team with Witchblade and, like, scaling by, like, playing more greedily. But I think he's, like, super made it work this game. Because, for the most part, he's kind of just been like disrupting these fights really heavily. He always seems to find a way to jump on top of the Oracle and silence him before he can get the ult off. And even though he doesn't always kill the Oracle in the silence duration, normally the time that he's able to disrupt the Oracle is long enough to the point where even though Oracle is able to get the false promise off, it's not at the critical moment where the Oracle is actually able to save his core hero and turn the fight.
We are seeing both teams split the map once again. We're seeing Squid getting a little bit frisky, grabbing that Yule set from the secret shop, but he's ultimately fine. And we're seeing much as we have for the last 3 games of the series. It is Pizzadog pushing in side lanes, pushing in side lanes. Frostfire Simps do the opposite. They also push in side lanes, and it's a lot of farming for the time being. The top T2 actually went down, though, to the siege units. That's a bit of a massive one right there. I guess the pressure was too much, and now this Radiant side team can grab the Dire side outpost in the near future, and they are playing Tri-Camp, but they have actually no smokes in their inventory quite yet, so perhaps they may play a little bit slower for the time being, but yeah, we're just fine. We're chilling.
Acid Rain's also closing in on that Aghanim Scepter. This is the last time we talk about him for a while, I think, but it's 200 all the way from that Aghanim Scepter, and It's like incredibly hard. I'm not even gonna say incredibly hard. I'm gonna say it's just straight up impossible to stop him from stealing Astra.
Whoa, Squid dodges hook shot with the blink, now goes in close on the Bingu. Bingu low, but still, Frostfire comes in, Fume is invis though, and finds Zer's giving nearly one shot to Oracle. Oracle in the grave, and now they head to Bingu. ET's there, but the BKB does not save Bingu, gets destroyed with a crit of Fume. Now it's ET trying to run, but no, another crit from Fume. 3 crits, 3 kills. Wraith King is out of control.
that was, I don't know, it's just funny. Bloodseeker BKBs after he comes out of that Eula Scepter and pops a BKB hoping to live, but this Wraith King is actually incredibly far. I don't think I've talked about Hume very much this game, but he is just incredibly strong right now. He's able to hit all the time as he's want to. I think I've like made fun of Hume in the past because it seemed like he always kind of went Armlet Radiance, or always went like Phase Midas Radiance, which was like a super outdated build I think at this point. But this game, it seems like he just kind of gets it. He goes Armlet Deso into the Shadow Blade as well. Just been critting heroes left and right, getting a ton of kills. He's super strong right now.
He's invis, looking to be in the hunt once again. Right now, Radiant though, see little. I saw Bloodseeker at the hard camp, and they may jump him right here, right now. Fume has Breathfire Blast. In comes Roll. In comes Ice Path, but actually misses, I believe. Lift, though, is certainly enough crowd control. Bingu goes down, and that's a pause coming out. Uh-oh. Not quite sure what the purpose of this... Okay, a bit of an interesting all chat from Boljax on that, but we are in the pause. We are seeing a disconnection from Zersky. Apparently he was lagging. Perhaps that's the cope, whereas, oh, our Zersky was lagging. That's why I didn't use False Promise, even though it's on cooldown for half a minute.
Yeah, I think the BKB is also cooldown there. I mean, it shows it's off cooldown right now for Bingu, but I'm fairly certain that you can react to a max range Fire Blast that you're walking away of. Bingu's not a bad player whatsoever.
And we are looking to the point of the game where it was Pizzadog with momentum early on, but it seems like their momentum has stalled significantly as the Wraith King in the Rubik in particular have gotten some big plays off, and I mean the King, he is the king of 2 titles, Wraith and Skeletons. He is looking to add to his domain by making a 3rd title of Lad's Champion here. This is big man right now.
Alright, but we're back, looks like.
Some interesting... All chat's a little interesting right now, but we are reconnecting from Zeri, the Dragonscape, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, and the G's come out into the chat. It will be time for Dota to resume at some point. Eventually. Eventually not, never mind. He's ping spiking. We will continue the pause. Apparently, we may be seeing a reboot from Zerscape. Apparently, he's having some real problems. We are getting spiking.
Okay, whatever, dude. I just woke up, not even trying.
Okay,
and I'm lagging.
wait a minute. Zerscape, he's good. Apparently, Bolex was saying it could be Dota.
Okay, whatever, dude.
We're seeing some G's in the chat, we're seeing some EG lines in the chat, and we're seeing our Dota game resume. And right now, back to where we were, it is Frostfire Simps with momentum. They are currently playing the winning game in this winner-take-all grand finals game in Lads. And they're looking to grow their lead by heading into the Roshan pit. They see Roshan, they want to take it, and well, with all that minus armor, it should be relatively easy. Dire for their parts. Appear not to know. They are currently grouped at their tri-camp as forward, and I think if they wanted to, this Roshan would still be forfeits, and it will be Aegis, likely to Colonel Squid, I guess? Yeah, it will be Colonel Squid.
Yeah, Wraith King not exactly the best Aegis carrier, and yeah, I mean, Squid's like pretty much the only recipient. Actually, I think giving it to Rubik's kind of based there, but
I agree.
it's not like I think giving Aegises to your save heroes is generally pretty good. But maybe, Astrid doesn't have Astral right now, so he's not a save hero.
He's got that Blood Rage. It gives that spell amp.
That's a reverse
His
save,
attack
actually.
speed.
That kills your team.
Listen, I think if you give Fume 150 attack, you have to save. Hookshot's there on Squid. Can't kill else that comes in. Laguna, not used, not even needed. He just popped. ET TP's away, and it is barely in time. Roll comes through, but it's not the Skyward in time. Now it's Xeriscape. The lone man left bottom will go down, but it's an Aegis trade for a bunch of TPs and a death. I think you're fine with that one if you are Pizzadog. That is Aegis gone, and the entirety of Frostfire Simps are now in this bottom area.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of where they wanted to go anyways, but I think that was definitely play that caught Frostfire Simps off guard, as well as, I mean, just being able to take the Aegis off the puck it's really nice for this upcoming engagement. I didn't even see how that started. I wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
They caught him with Hookshot. I think it was a raw hookshot from ET. Laguna's there, another hookshot from ET. Down goes Squid again. Another big kill on Squid. The Simps, they scatter. They run towards the dire tri-camp. Ice Path comes in looking to zone, but Sheepstick is looking to hunt. No blink. So there'll be no blink into imprisonment play, but they still want to go. ET and Sheepstick lead the way. Skyward, Invis, perhaps. They have Acid Rain. Meteor Hammer comes. They're seeing an LSA onto Bulljack. Acid Rain survives. Bulljack's not so lucky. Seeing a Frost. A huge look. Oh, the massive False Promise and Xeriscape saves Sheepstick. And now they hunt for more. They have rooted up Fume. Fume is in place. They do not pursue, though. It is 2 kills. 1 on Puck, 1 on Jakiro. And if you are Pizzadog, the team fights have not gone well. But they are beginning to bring some kills back.
Yeah, that was a really nice Astral. I think actually if Sheepstick was like a second later on the Astral, she might have just died because she ended up dodging the Laguna Blade damage with Astral Imprisonment. But if she hadn't, then the duration that she was Astral would have meant that her Oracle wouldn't have been able to heal her. And the Acid Rain having stolen Ag's Laguna Blade probably just like kills the oh wait, actually no, that's not how that works at all. I thought it doubled the damage. That's just completely wrong. But
Between
I mean, still nice
between the False Promise and Defensive Imprisonment, though, Sheepstick just could not die. And it's very important just to get these very favorable trades for Pizzadog. And we're seeing Frostfire Simps. Perhaps they want to once again take things and take fights on their terms. They're smoked up as forward-headed in the Dire Jungle area. They're by the middle Tier 2 tower. And they're perhaps looking for the right jump, but as that happens, it is Pizzadog grabbing some damage on that bottom Tier 2 tower. In now come the Simps from the north side, Sheepstick and ET. The closest targets if Radiant want the jump. But it appears as though we will not get a fight. We'll simply be seeing Frostfire Simps run all the way through the map to get a D-ward and stop the tower push.
yeah, it does feel like Pizzadog have kind of seized initiative of this game. I mean, there are still like down gold, and I think they're a little bit weaker in these fights, but just kind of their like fight selection has been incredibly good so far in these last few engagements. Oh,
Skyward Invis, as is Fume. Fume jumps on Sheepstick, and Sheepstick imprisons herself. Fume's BKB, though, is ending quite soon. False Promise and the imprisonment come through. Now Fume stuns onto Xeriscape. Xeriscape dead. We're seeing a coil onto the Lina. It's an Aghanim's coil, so it will snap and stun for a long time. Ice Path comes in, and Skyward actually invises in time. No! Goes down. Meanwhile, it's Acid Rain and Journey looking for more. They look for Sheepstick. They instead find Bingu. The stolen Laguna, the Ag's Laguna is there. Brings down Bingu. Triple kill once again for Fumans. For a long time, the engagement looked quite good for Pizzadog, but now it's once again the Simps taking the initiative, getting a fight on their terms, and they didn't even lose the Reincarnate there on Fume.
did Fume get that with a skeleton on the Bloodseeker?
I think so, yeah.
That's pretty funny, but yeah, that was phenomenal steal by Acid Rain there. Had stolen Laguna like all the way back when Colonel Squid was getting gone on near where the bottom Tier 1 Dire Tower was.
Well, they actually begin the attack on the bottom Tier 3 tower. Fume First part is walking away. Now Radiant jump for Sheepstick. Once again, the Ags Laguna coming in from Acid Rain. Sheepstick dead. ET to follow. It's 2 more kills. Sheepstick doesn't have a back, and Squid is hunting for more, looking for Xeriscape. Xeriscape low. Squid cannot find the kill quite yet, though, but this bottom tier 3 is under some severe damage. Skyward is near Squid. LSA Laguna Blade hits. Squid goes down. It is a counter kill now, and it's the stolen imprisonment from Acid Rain once again there onto Skyward. Skyward, though, does not go down here. The bottom racks, though, begin to fall. T3 dead. Range racks dead as well, and Fume is hitting onto the bottom barracks. Fire Blast is dodged with the Glimmer Cape, and now Skyward wants another big kill. She's is one shot by Fume, and now it's Skyward in the Ag's Coil trying to man fight. In comes Bingu, but Skyward dropping low. Skyward's BKB ending soon, trying to run away, but in comes Fire Blast. Skyward will go down, roll in by Journey as well. Now it's Bingu. He's so fast, but he just does not have damage. Hookshot comes in onto Journey. Journey still fine. Bingu arrives, brings down Bodas, but he more than Jakiro. They head to Acid Rain. He blinks away. He's just so maneuverable now. The imprisonment comes on in, but the Yules is there from Journey canceling the Meteor Hammer. Acid Rain tanks Rupture. Can Dire kill him? No, they cannot. Acid Rain just too immortal. And now Bingu desperately hunts for kills. He's running. Fortune 10 comes in, but it will not latch onto anything. It is a costly defense from Pizzadog. They do not lose the melees, but that is, I believe, a buyback used. Correction, a buyback used by Puck. So not completely terrible, but it's still an engagement win by the side of Frostfire Simps.
Yeah, the puck bought back. I did Chrono Squid a little bit too cheeky there. I don't know why he stood in base shift for so long. He knew the leader was on him, but nice timing by Skyward to time the LSA at the start of that fight and kill Squid with it. But I mean, even with this buyback, I think Squid's definitely gonna have to play like it's a lot safer. If he is to die, then the game could get a little bit dicey for Frostfire Simps. But I mean, even after that buyback, they are able to take a barracks, and it's not like any of their other major heroes died in the engagement.
Fume hunting. Oh, that's a scary man right there. That's a bad man. Does not find heroes with that one, though. This could be a very important smoke. It is S5 into the Dire Side jungle. They're running perhaps into Bulljack. Smoke has popped. Acid Rain blinks away. Skyward is caught in the middle of the river. Hookshot comes in onto, that is a Jakiro. But Jakiro is still relatively okay. He's forced out the way by, I believe, himself. It is himself. And now it's Fume once again hunting from the side. Dire actually lack the sentries on the ground right now. Fume has his eyes on Xeriscape, and well, it's a one-shot by Fume! Coil comes in onto him. Skyward. Skyward is dead immediately, and now Pizzadog, they are collapsing. Roll comes through. Bingu low. Bingu dead. Sheepstick, BKB's BT is dead, and it's a back from Oracle, but we have died back on Oracle as well! Sheepstick gets away, but it is 5 kills for Frostfire Simps. Only ET has buyback. This will be more barracks, perhaps in the top lane, and for Frostfire Simps, they have won every amateur league they have. All but one. Until perhaps now. They are on the doorstep of winning League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, Pizzadog, they kind of just have to hope that Frostfire Simps mess up at this point. I think they could wait for Roshan, but honestly, that might be a little bit too safe. Just with the amount of building damage that this Wraith King does between skeletons and the Deso minus armor, the AC minus armor, and just a lot of base damage as well. It's looks like it's gonna be megas really before Pizzadog can really do anything. Okay, looks like they are gonna have one last engagement here at the mid racks, but I mean, it doesn't really feel like they're gonna have enough time to set up. Okay. Frostfire Simps going back for Roshan. I like this play, I'd say. I mean, you're like so close to winning the game. Might as well.
They're fine with that. I mean, it's a second Aegis, of course. It is the Ags and the Ag Shard and the Aegis available for them right now.
Oh my god, he got a Psychic Headband on Rubik. That's so nice.
Oh, that is real good for Acid Rain. And Pizzadog, they know it. They know the time is now. It has to be now. They've smoked up. They are desperate to fight. They pop the smoke on Journey, and Roshan's 1/3 HP. Is there a jump? ET. He's scouting. Ice Path comes in onto Bingu. Coils there onto Skyward. How's the fight break out so far? Rupture comes in. ET hookshot, but it's not onto any enemies. Bingu man fights. False Thomas was there onto the Bloodseeker, but he's just so low still. And now, it's Bingu who still dies thanks to all the damage coming through before the False Promise ended, and so far it is Pizzadog scattering, Lena running away, and now we're seeing the Prisma onto both the OD and I believe that is a Journey Pangolier. Hammer dropped, Journey dead, Squid, phase shifting, ET go down to a few minutes out of the fight. Now it's a buyback from Clock and Pangolier. Journey returning to the fight, OD on the run once again. It has Big KB on cooldown, Sheepstick will go down as well. And Pizzadog, they are running on the ability to fight. Xeriscape, he goes down as well. Skyward is desperate, he's hunting, finds Acid Rain low. Will he die? Yes, he will, but he got the Solar Imprisonment off in time. Hookshot missed by ET. And they go for Skyward. Skyward silenced. Skyward stunned. Skyward dead. In the all chat! Oh my! In Frostfire Simps, they they know their target. It is the second shot of the game. Oh my, that is... Wow.
I think they lost though. Squid has a Reaper queued up. I don't think he's going to be able to finish that before the game ends. Fuma is actually massive. Holy, look at the net worth right now. He's like more than 10,000 net worth above the next closest hero on Dire, and like pretty much 10k net worth above every hero in the game.
This is Megan's attempt now from Frostfire Simps. They know what time it is. T3 already dead. Lena has the buyback. We'll have to use it probably right around now. Perhaps Skyward is waiting for the right jump before he buys back into the fight. And there goes the buyback. Ranger Axe. They're damaged, but not quite dead yet. And for now, Squid was looking for an angle from the left side. Could not find it. Could not get in. But for now, so you know what? Lena has bought back. We will wait for the creep wave. We will head on back, and we will delay the game for now.
The Ultra's far more interesting than the game right now.
It actually is it's certainly lively, I'll give it that. Now Hookshot comes in onto two of the back lines. This could be the jump. Elsa is there on three. Laguna comes in. Acid Rain goes down. Journey, the next target. He's rolling, but he's caught in the cogs. Acid Rain bought back. Fume still hunting. And now it's Journey, still low. Mega Power comes in on ET, but Journey's just so low. Journey dead, ET perhaps a trade. Coil there onto ET dead. Bingu fighting, brings down the first life of the Fume, Wraith King. Now, Fume returns. Hammer dropped on three. Bingu dead. Bingu buys back. And now they look once again for Squid. Squid will lose the Aegis. Attempt number 2 on his life. Perhaps going to work. He's actually blinked further into the base. Did not jaunt. He's juked out, broken the ankles of the Dire, and will get away through the south side of the Dire base. So Pizzadog, it defends.
That's a hold.
It's a hold. It's costly. It's buybacks used on multiple cores. Ranger Axe and T3 mid dead. But the base, it's still alive. Barely, but alive.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. Actually, I honestly really expected them to get Mega there. And they did actually get a Rubik buyback as well, which is pretty nice. Frostfire Simps are probably just gonna like wait a little bit, wait for their heroes to respawn and then run it back. But I mean, if they mess up, if they botch another engagement, then the game gets a little bit awkward. Bloodseeker is one of these heroes that's actually pretty easy to throw against, just because you kind of naturally do so much damage, and if you're able to give him a little bit of comeback gold, then he can just kind of rip through the Wraith King. Especially if he does have the Aghanim Shard, which is just pure percentage damage. One of the best ways of dealing with Wraith King. The Bloodseeker Shard plus Scotty combo is just incredibly good at taking out these really big, durable heroes.
What is Skyward up to right now? He is in the hunt, and she might just go down. Every time he comes in, Skyward is caught, and he has no buyback. He might not respond for the rest of the game. The tips, they cascaded immediately. Skyward He went for the big play. High risk, high reward, perhaps. But the reward was not realized, and he's only found a 2-minute trip to the grave, and that may be his last time alive this entire season of Lads. Radiance, they not only smell the blood in the water, Pizzadog, they're hemorrhaging the blood. They are running out of the ability to fight this game, and this impossible defense is just even more impossible.
Honestly, I kind of
desperately tries. Imprisonment comes on in, now Juke's out. Hookshot comes in on the squid, but he's once again imprisoned up, I believe, his own teammate. E.T. dead. There's now 3 alive. They head to Xeriscape and Bingu as Cheapstick imprisons one towards the tier 4s. Xeriscape on the run, Xeriscape will go down. He too has no buyback. Over to Bingu. He's banished once again by Acid Rain, and they know it. They have called the GG, and Frostfire Simps, at long last, have won Season 8 of Lads.
they deserved it. I think they played really well. Their game 1 wasn't the most decisive, but I mean they still won fights where I just like pretty consistently said that they should lose. And then this game they absolutely destroyed them. The early laning phase looked bad, but I think it was a little bit. I mean, I think maybe talked about how badly they were losing the lanes a little bit too much because Pizzadog did pick some heroes that are just honestly incredibly bullshit during the laning phase. OD, his numbers are quite big, incredibly hard to lane against that hero. And then Lina is obviously just like infamously one of the best laning heroes in the game.
We're going to head to the League of Lads Discord, by the way. I made a channel for an interview. You should see it at the bottom of the voice channels. You see it?
I have to find League of Lads. Okay. Yes.
Alright, go join it with me. Alright, I've made a channel in the Labs where I've told Bulljax he is aware of the channel. He wants me to join his Discord. I say no. He's joining this Discord.
I like that. We should join his Discord. We can get a full team interview. Oh.
Hello?
Oh, never mind. They're here. Hello,
Okay,
Bulljax, and hello the entirety of Frostfire Simps.
What is up, Frostfire?
All I gotta say is congratulations. It's been heartbreak after heartbreak. Last season, heartbreak. Season before that, heartbreak. But you won our D2L Masters, you've won our leagues, and at long last, you've done it. You've won Lads. Congratulations.
We did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feels fucking great, honestly. You know. Loving it. I don't know. Pretty hyped, honestly.
Do you believe in a snow badger?
You know what? All I gotta say is eat shits. All I gotta say is eat shits.
Eat shit,
That was
man.
so funny.
Shit.
Oh.
You know, I wasn't gonna BM until they did, personally. Like, so.
No, Bulljax was talking shit literally from minute 1.
It's a little different.
Bulljax
You
is
should
calling them
see,
many
you should have
racial
heard the
slurs.
N-words coming from the voice chat.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bulljax
my.
is a big slur user.
Time to cancel me.
Interesting. I'm going to try to take a window capture to bring in, you know what? Screw it, it'll work. This is incredibly sloppy, but it'll have to work. Is that? Oh, I'm doing it. I am an production expert, by the way. I've done it. Alright, so you guys are now on the screen so people can see who's saying what here, but... I mean, game 1, it was...
Wait, we have to use webcams or no?
No, God, no, God. No.
Okay.
Alright, Journey, turn on the
Send
webcam.
pics, please.
Alright.
But, I mean, game 1 was...
Wait, oh, but this is background.
Was looking real tenuous
doing?
early on. I mean...
Put on camera.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
Hi.
Start it off, Journey. But...
Unlucky.
Yes.
Unlucky.
Yes.
My
Oh, you
Discord's
look so
frozen.
good.
This is staying on. I'm not even joking. I literally can't turn it off.
Alright, we're just gonna ignore it.
Journey, dude. Couch gaming for the
Yeah,
win.
Couch Game. Yeah, the setup of an all-star. I have my sub, my Doritos, my milkshake.
You guys,
Ugh.
you
Oh
guys
my
actually,
God. Oh my God.
But guys, I'm not even joking. I literally can't turn this off. Oh, I figured it out. Alright, there we go. Video's off.
Oh.
You guys played game 1, though. It's a very back and forth game. You guys were down for most of the game, actually. How was the morale when you guys suddenly bring it back at the last minute game 1?
Honestly, I didn't feel like we were behind game 1 at all.
Yeah,
we
I
didn't
think
feel
I'm-
under that pressure at all. My friend told me we were behind, like, at 7k gold. And I'm like, what?
I don't know.
That's what
Really?
I said the
Dude,
same
I
thing.
was so
Dollars
surprised we were
Store
behind
Fiend
in
said
gold.
the same thing to me. I never
Yeah.
felt pressured by them.
I never felt pressured
Yeah.
at all. We felt in control of the game the whole time.
I mean, like,
It-
Kunkka definitely... I felt game 1 that, like, I was going to have to go Maelstrom BKB, and then Bingo just played the lane like he was trying to drop it when I think he could have pressured me more, and so I was kind of just vibing, waiting for BKB. We were just dodging them. Get a
It
few.
was a free lifestealer game too, so
Yeah. Okay, Mr.
even with the
12,
razors,
11, 0, and
can't
12.
solo carry against it.
Yeah. You
I'll
never
see
got to
you.
pull out my tech.
Logical, might I say, we love your in-game name. It was fucking hilarious. We died.
I
What is it?
appreciate that. Thank you. No one's actually pinged me in a rank game ever since I changed that to mine. No one pings my abilities anymore.
Hilarious. It
dear
says ping me
Lord.
and I'll kiss ping me more and I'll kiss you or something. That's awesome.
I think game 2 though, that was a bit of a beatdown out of your favor. What was the thoughts there on game 2?
I made
Just
two bad
picking
smoke
on
plays.
lanes.
I was way too forced. I made two really bad smoke plays and gave him 6 kills. So honestly, that was all on me.
We
Yeah,
just had kind of like weak lanes.
Yeah,
basically.
I don't know why I always like wanted to go and force things. We just needed to like pull the lanes and like just extend the game, and we would
I
have won
also
later.
went the wrong skill build. I tried the lane going 2 points in my flame guard, but like I'm the only person that can make plays pre 15 minutes, so I needed to go like just slight chains. But by the time I had points in chains, lanes had been ended, and so my gank power was much weaker with Oracle just camping them. So
You had
I
that.
also don't.
You
Yeah,
guys
go
had
ahead.
that one beautiful fight, game 2. It was top lane. You guys were down, I
Yeah.
think, 10k going into the fight, and yet you not only wiped 5, but you popped the Aegis. How in the hell did you win that fight?
So right.
Yeah, Skyward just showed on the like right in front of the towers without his team
Yeah.
there, so we were able to quick pick him off, and then his team like kind of came to help too late.
Yeah, that fight was like the most spread out fight, and like when the fights are super spread out, and like Spirit Breaker's only hitting one person with a spell, there's only one person getting hit by boat. There's no exorcism. Like those are the only fights you can really win. But like once they started to like stay together, Oracle was never disconnected from his core, and like the DP actually had his spell that made him do damage or her do damage. Then the fights were like really impossible for us to take. As we really only had one stun, and we either used it on the Oracle, and then the core had free fight, or we used it on the core and they just got Oracle open. So a little bit of an oversight there.
Game 3, though, the early game, it began very badly. 2k lead right away for Pizzadog, and it looked like it was starting to snowball out of control, but then you bring it back. Who made the shot calls? They're like, all right, we need to fight, get some kills right here, right now. And you had some key pickoffs. Who was really the person who was leading that charge there?
I think the turning point was Squid TPing bottom to get the
double
sheep stick
kill.
kill to kind of halt her momentum.
Yeah.
Because like, she was kind of doing the same thing as game 1, like pushing that tier 1 tower and taking over a jungle, and like delaying that kind of push helped us get back in the game for sure.
I thought my TP was gonna get canceled. I was TPing literally like on their Hydra in the mid, but I was able to TP in. I think I was like 500 from Blink after that, and then I was able to kind of just run around the map for free, and they really never caught me aside from me fucking a couple times.
Yeah, and then that fight mid that we were able to kill like the Lina and delay their mid push as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Ags block was
that-
humongous, honestly.
Yeah, I mean Lena just once she gets Ags coiled,
You can't do anything.
Yeah,
There's nothing. Yeah.
Pucks also feels so nice in Oracle.
Well, here, I got a
Oracle.
question for the
Yes.
casters. If there's an MVP for the series on our team, who would you give it to?
Logical?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you meant you'd give it to
Answer
Logical.
first.
I give it to Logical.
I'm them. I think that's not. There's no way that one can be it.
I leave it to Acid Rain. I thought he popped the fuck off, man. He absolutely went
Yeah.
off.
Agree. Yeah, I think Acid's
I
MVP.
think I'd
Agreed.
also go with Acid Rain personally. He made some really good calls.
Thank you. I felt pretty useless game 2, but what can you do?
Game 3, he said,
I mean,
I get Ags and this game is over, and it was over.
Yeah.
True. He never said which way, so it kind of scared me.
he was down mid after that, so.
Yeah. Oh.
I bought Ags and just walked it down mid.
Yeah, our 2 wins. We had Rubik. Coincidence?
I'm a little bit hesitant to give MVP to make these Rubik players think they're any better than they are, but I was talking a lot in game 3 about how I like that you were playing like super greedy against OD as Rubik, because like once you have Ags, you just become like so fucking strong.
I can't believe
That actually
picked
was not a
out
game by
OD
game choice. That's
and
just how
didn't
Acid
give-
is. He just takes.
I don't know
on
how
the
they didn't ban
fucking
Rubik,
clock.
honestly. No respect. How do you not ban the Acid Rain Rubik? And pick OD as well. It just felt a little too easy.
Okay,
Okay.
buddy. I don't know about that one,
And we
Bojack.
actually did want to run the Jakiro mid.
Yeah,
but,
dude, I never
it
got to
didn't-
run
it
my
didn't work
Jakiro
out.
mid. I
didn't
wanted to
work
play
out.
Jakiro mid game 1, but Wind Ranger was just too tempting. And then game 3, they just picked this fucking Oracle Clockwork. Like, how would I play core Jakiro into that?
You don't.
If I had to play fucking Puck, man, I would much rather be fucking spitting
Right.
on people.
I have one more question. Okay, logical. I went 1-4-1 on my skill.
Oh
on
my
Oh,
fucking Get me out.
Bad.
What?
Is that-
What on Jakiro?
yeah,
Jakiro,
so like, I
man.
figured
Dude,
like all my spells, like there's OD and there's an Oracle, so like all my spells would be worthless besides my stun. So I went 1-4-1, and then I maxed my E.
The
So that was
second point.
1-4-1.
The second point,
He
Jakiro.
laughed, dude, he laughed. Oh no!
Dude, it's literally 10 more mana for double the
I
damage.
understand that, but like pushing the towers was so much better. Like skeletons at E, like a 4-second cooldown, like
I
what
think
doesn't matter.
I think it's good actually. I think maybe not good, but I feel like it's
Oh,
Alright.
fine.
no.
Because like
It's good.
okay, so actually, I mean, I don't know. Maybe saying this will only make sense to Squid, but like on Quap, kind of the same way that people just like stop getting 2 points of dagger now. I feel like it's the same kind of thing where like you just like want the utility of the 4th point as soon as possible because that's what you're playing your hero around.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I don't know. Like people just
This
skip
is so
ulti
big.
though instead. You just skip second point ulti on Quap instead to get your blink maxed out. That's what people do. They go level 13 ult.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
true.
what do you
as
leave
well.
dagger at?
One. You
Yeah,
only use it
okay.
for like level 1, like level 1. Yeah, I think that's the best way to play.
Still in the lane. But yeah, like, and I mean, I don't know. I usually either go 2 points or 0 points. I don't usually go 1 point. But
Okay, I have a question just for Fube, actually. Game 3, I was really concerned when you pick Wraith King because I felt like for the past few months, even though no one else goes Radiance on Wraith King, every single game I saw you play Wraith King, you bought a Radiant. So what possessed you Game 3 to go Armlet, to go the good build?
I played some games today, and I went I got owned on a Radiant spell, and I won on my Deso, attack build. So yeah, I think I've been converted.
I'm happy for you.
oh god.
He goes like Radiance in like the greed out games, where he thinks he just like
Yeah.
if he has the most farm, he wins.
We don't really criticize Fume on his build. We just let
I
him
don't
build what he wants.
feel
But
much
I
he can
think
do.
I think the
He's
Battle
the
Fury
level-
game 2 is definitely
Yeah,
a little
I said the same
questionable.
thing, actually.
That's fair.
I
that's
looked
fair.
at my Ursa at 15 minutes and he's got Malafry. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get you to your BKB Blink Basher, buddy.
Yeah, that's
But-
probably grief.
We also had a funny moment, game 2, where I go to Journey. I'm like Giga underfarmed right now. He's like, me too, I'm Giga underfarmed. I only have Blink Yules. And I'm like, no, I'm Giga underfarmed. I have Phase Boots Javelins. I am like, there has never been a more underfarmed Ember Spirit. It was very sad. What can you do?
What can you?
I guess win the R2 games, because that one was a lost cause.
Yeah.
I have one final question, though. How does it feel? I mean, the meme among lads for the last, 12 months now is Nebula chokes in playoffs, They're never going to win. They're never going to win at the lads. And after last season, the haters seemed vindicated. You guys were number 1 seed, dropped 2 heartbreaking series to lose season 7, but this time, no series is lost. You came in through winners, and you pulled it out in the very end. How does it feel to win League of Lads?
Amazing, honestly.
It was pretty
It was all
damn
for
good.
Fume, honestly, at the end of the day. Winning the finals was for Fume because he really wants. It was. It is,
I will just say, after the end of game 2, when Skyward said in all chat, "You're not going to choke again, are you?" I have never been more focused in my life.
Yes.
That literally, like fucking, I don't even know, no final, no, not even the fucking SATs, literally nothing in my life I have ever been more focused than that moment on my fucking. Oh, I did not want to choke.
It's also important to mention that Journey plays on a couch with a dog-ass laptop, and we said that if you won finals,
that's
you would
Oh,
get
shit,
it.
Dude, now I
Journey a
gotta
new
buy
computer.
this new laptop, man.
Journey, I've been working overtime for the last 3 months. I got you.
No, I'll get it. But yeah, I finally get to move off the couch and onto a functional computer.
Journey's setup is actually, I don't even know how it plays
Dota.
Dota. Dude, Journey's gonna go to a desk and he's gonna be fucking 9k because he currently plays at 4 FPS.
I'll
with,
finally get to play against Phantom Lancer. That's the highlight of my day, dude.
We've banned Phantom
Yeah.
every game, besides this series. every other series because his computer couldn't handle it. That was kryptonite.
Journey's computer literally PL
Like, he
presses
hits, like,
W,
3-second.
and Journey now is watching a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
All right,
So
boys.
that'll be exciting.
Congratulations again. We're going to wrap it up. Let's start with the entirety of Frostfire Simps. Do you have any final words, any callouts, any shouts to say to the people of League of Lads in twitch.tv/Badger Pablo?
Shout out to Frostfire, Mercy, Alpha, and Strikers. That's all I got.
That
Dude,
was
my team's
rapid fire.
fucking brain worms.
Yep, definitely shout out to Frostfire. We wouldn't have won without the
100%.
Frostfire.
True,
Coaching,
true.
days in the film room, giving suggestions, telling us to pick Crystal Maiden.
Grilling us on losses, everything.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
That ancient 2 mentality really coming in clutch. Oh.
I think that's all we got. This one's got something else.
Well, I got one final question. So what's next for you guys? You guys want a grand total of $0 on the biggest amateur tournament that 40 people
Yeah.
watched? So what's next for you guys?
The plan for the team, we're gonna
TI.
well, obviously
Yeah.
we're gonna try. We would like to
Holy
make
shit.
Div 2
I think
DPC. I think is an attainable duel, and that's what we're
Yeah.
gonna try for Nebula. As for lads, it's kind of who knows. Honestly, we might just pick up Frostfire. We might split the team. I think the consensus is to try to keep the team together as much as we can, and then just work towards Div 2 DPC and just get better.
Yeah.
I'm back to ranked. Everybody's back to doing a lot of fun ranked stuff. So that's the plan.
Going into this season, I had planned for this to be my last Lads season, so this is a good way to go out.
Go out
Yeah.
on top, And we just
Yeah, as I said, initially this was my plan to be final season because I got second first season, third last season, first this season, so rounded at the podium.
Yeah.
how much better can you do? So
Exactly,
I guess
get
next
zero
season, if they let me play mid, that's what I want to do. But we'll see.
Yeah, we
I've been
will definitely
I've
see.
literally been asking for so many seasons now. The team just keeps cockblocking me.
I wonder
Damn.
why. Yeah, big
like,
big surprise. Why? I wonder why.
I'm the best, dude. I was like
Oh my
fifth max. I'll
God.
carry every game.
I don't know about that one, but thank you for the interview, boys, and congratulations again. Over to Logical, though, thank you as always for joining me. Do you have any final words, call outs, shouts to say to the people of League of Lads and twitch.tv/Badger Pablo?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
Thanks for having us, Badger.
No words from Logical. Literally 0 words,
Oh.
but...
But that was to sorry.
That
I
was to
said
you,
that
yeah,
for a
that was to you, buddy.
Oh, I thought it was Josh.
I mean, that was pretty happy. I think I have not really paid very much attention at all to League of Legends. I played the one season with Foreplay because he asked me to, but yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the games in the last few series.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, pleasantly surprised it is then, but I'm going to now give my outro. On behalf of the league, though, we will be opening signups early in January, to the best of my knowledge, very early in January. And with the new signups, we'll have a surprise. We will not solely be through Discord next season. We have a brand new feature coming out that we're all going to love. We have some good work being put in by Frostfire and by Teddy to help us with a huge project, and it'll be live and functional within the coming days, hopefully. So I'm really excited for that one, but...
Is it an OnlyFans?
What is it?
No, you'll see. But my name is Badger. If you enjoyed my casting, want to cast your games, cast your tournaments, want to hire me and Logical to cast your professional tournaments, you know where to find me. It's Discord, Badger, number 5713, or on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Badger, Dota 2. For now, though, it is the end of the road. Thank you for watching. Thanks to all the viewers. Congrats to Frostfire Simps. And as always, have a great night.